This episode of Jocks and Jills is brought to you by SharkNinja, Shark Beauty, Shark Home, and Ninja Kitchen. We're big fans of all three of their brands, and today we want to tell you about the Shark FlexStyle air styling and drying system. With Shark FlexStyle, you can easily transform between a powerful, fast, no heat, damage hair dryer and an ultra versatile multi-styler. Attach different stylers and unlock the ability to curl, volumize, smooth, and dry. Tessa, obviously, I did use the Shark.
I was gonna
if
say.
you guys are watching on YouTube right now, I'm popping with the hair right now. It's very shiny. It's very flex styled. I'm such a big fan of the Shark Flex Style. It takes the whole changing tools thing out. You don't have to go hair dryer, and then to your hot tool. It's an all-in-one machine. It's honestly saved me a ton of time in the morning. I'm a very big fan, Tess.
With luscious locks like yours, Julia. Julia's hair, by the way, is all natural. People might think you do extensions and stuff. That ain't it. That's all Julia, guys.
Check out my legs. There will be proof that this is all my hair. And talk to my eyebrow girl because her life is tough. Yes, this is all my hair. But Tessa, I feel like your bob has even improved with the Shark Flex Style. Your iconic hairstyle too.
This is like from yesterday, just so you
Couldn't
know.
tell.
Slept on and then just given like a reflex style bump, if you will. So
It's
thank
the
you,
best.
Julia, because I feel very tired this morning. But thank you for that. Little pick me up. Go team. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Go team. The Flex Style picking us both up here. Thanks to our friends at SharkNinja. They're a proud founding partner of the PWHL, our presenting sponsor here at Jocks and Jills. Okay, welcome in episode 42 of Jocks and Jills. We've got a packed one today, Tessa, and you're fresh off a back and forth to Vancouver. Like, how you feeling right now?
It was a 24-hour trip. So, I mean, on the way there, I left at 11 p.m. Eastern. I was like, whatever, I'll just have a snooze, you know?
Yep.
And then I obviously you get on the plane, you start thinking of every and anything. Like, did I remember to lock the door? All this stuff. And then I got into a movie, Emilia Perez. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
It's like a Spanish musical.
Oh,
But
okay. That
it's
sounds
like
really off-brand for you. I'm not gonna lie.
100% is. I was just like,
I
I
didn't
just
even know
saw
you
like
like musicals.
don't. Well, I mean, I shouldn't say don't. I enjoy music. Musicals, probably not a lot. I didn't know it was that. I was just
Okay.
like, it was this drug cartel thing. This guy, the leader of the cartel, I thought he wanted to disappear, so he just changed himself as a woman. He basically got major surgery, okay? He's
Okay.
like, it turns out that's who he felt he was his whole life, and he finally wanted to live as his true self. So
Oh.
his wife and his kids think that he passed away, but he didn't. He just got the surgery, and then he tricks them to come back and acts as their long lost aunt.
Whoa.
And gets them to live with them. Yeah, it's like I haven't finished it. I fell asleep. It's like killing me. I need to find out where Emilia Perez is on the interweb. Anyways,
Yeah. Seriously, sounds like the internet's most interesting.
This
lady.
movie is unreal, and like there are subtitles for when they are singing and speaking Spanish. It's really good. Like this is probably the first musical I really like, and it's a Spanish one.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Yeah, guys, we got a packed episode today. We're going to do a little recap of Worlds. Tessa was in Vancouver. We're going to talk about Vancouver expansion. So much of the regular season, like only 3 games remaining, but still
It's
so much to
crazy.
be figured out about the regular season. We're going to tee up those games. Buckles is going to stop by. We have a great interview with a North Vancouver native, which seems very fitting on a day like today, our first episode after the expansion officially. We'll talk about the FanDuel odds. What else, Tessa? Any updates from Vancouver before we get to your trip to Vancouver?
I love that city. I've never gone there and been like, ugh, Vancouver, ever.
I know.
It's just
the
like,
best.
you're just like, Vancouver's wicked. Like
Even
all
when
the
it's
time.
raining, like I don't even care that much. For some
People
reason,
there, they don't
yeah.
either.
No. And when it's raining in Toronto and gray in Toronto, I'm miserable.
Cranky.
Another great musical, but when it's raining in Vancouver, I'm like, whatever. This is kind of vibe. Like, I feel like I should wear like a alt hippie hat and sit in a coffee shop. Like, it just has a totally different feel to it. So Vancouver's awesome.
I think it's all the nature around it. Anyways, the weather there was glorious. It was beautiful. Got to run into Cami Granado, catch up with her a bit. Also, an old teammate and good friend of mine, Megan Augusta. She had her daughter Chance there with with 3 of her buddies. who were basically the stars of the show. They were like hitting me, every media outlet was hitting them up and they were great interviewees. I was just like, this is amazing. I love that this is happening. But it was nice to catch up with everyone and see everybody. There was a way more people there than I thought that was going to be there. So that was also a delightful surprise. I expected lots of people, but just so everyone knows, there were a lot of people there. Like there, to the point where I was like, man, I saw the snack table before. I hope there's enough snacks for everyone because that's so many people.
Wow.
I know. What about you? What have you been up to while I've been beep bopping around?
This is my favorite time of the year. It's the best time of the year. Women's Worlds winds down, and then you go right into NHL playoffs. You go right into golf season. I got on the course a couple times. I'm going again tonight to play a little par 3. You know, I got new irons, so I'm like addicted to them right now. I had a hard time with them the first time I golfed with them, and then I was all stressed.
That always happens.
I was stressed, so then I had to get obsessed and be out there with them a lot, and now it's looking a lot better. Still yet to figure out my new driver, but no one really cares about my golf game. I suck. I don't know why I'm telling you guys about this.
It's a relationship with your golf clubs. It's a real thing.
It is. Thanks everyone for listening about my quest to break 100. I went to the Leafs' second game, the second game of the Battle of Ontario. I went with Marissa and her husband and Liam. We had so much fun.
Good.
Sat up in the 300s as you should during the playoffs because nobody wants to sit down in the yacht club, as Emma Buckles called it, even though I'm pretty sure that's where she sits.
Yeah.
It was awesome. I can't believe Max Domi got that overtime winner. I thought the Leafs were hooped because I'm a jaded Leafs fan once it went to overtime, so I thought it was over. I'm just really excited to get back to hockey. Like, I was kind of loving during Women's Worlds. It was just lining up so well with my work hours. You know, I was locked in to just watching it all day. Yeah. So the beginning of this week, I've just been like twiddling my thumbs. I'm very excited to get back to some women's hockey.
And the fact that there is a lot going on in the 3 games remaining for every single team.
Like a lot. I feel like we should get to it right now. We good on updates from our life?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Let's hop in. Let's recap Worlds. Because when we did our Worlds post-game analysis, it was fresh off the game. Like they were still on the ice receiving the trophy when you and I did our post-game reaction from that. Yep. There were a couple things I wanted to mention that I kind of missed when we were doing the post-game reaction. I didn't look up Abby Murphy's stats at all from the NCAA. Like I knew she was the most penalized player in the NCAA last season. I did not realize that 9 of those penalties were for embellishment last year in the NCAA. I had a couple people tweet that at me. So it's part of her game that she's gonna have to clean up. It was a narrative from the tournament, so I wanted to make sure I mentioned that. I didn't get a chance to look at ice time, obviously, from overtime either before we talked because we just hopped back on. We should have been more fired up about Gardner not playing in overtime.
How not?
Like, I should have been more fired up about that. I'm sorry, guys, I didn't yell.
And you know what? The Gist did something too that really sparked my attention. Like, I'm just happy it's not after one thing of overtime, it goes to a shootout. That made me happy. They're like, why is it 3-on-3? And I was like, you know what?
True.
Very true. Why?
Yeah, we should be asking for more. We were, I think, just as maybe longtime hockey fans, we're so happy that it's no longer a shootout immediately.
100%.
That we're like, okay, we'll take this 3-on-3. But the girls at the Gist are right. Steph and Ellen, I think it should be 5-on-5 in a gold medal game. 100%.
Hit the nail on the head.
That was a great take. Czechia was amazing. We gave Czechia lots of flowers. The team, the fans, both of them. Setting the attendance record at Worlds, in Europe. I can't believe that happened.
I love that.
Still. I love it. Yes. And I feel like it's going to put a chip on Canada's shoulder too. Like us as a country wanting to make sure, and the US too, wanting to make sure they're back in that conversation.
Yeah. And I think too, you can also speak volumes to the league in the PWHL. Now there's a lot more fans aware of other players from other countries. So they become fans of that player. And in turn, they want to see, Switzerland take on Czechia. So those games are going to be, more attended, or even Finland taking on Switzerland in Czechia. I feel like it's just going to continue to grow in that aspect. So like next year when Worlds is in Canada, then, there's going to be a young Ottawa Charge players that wants to go see Czechia play, so that game will get sold out more, as opposed to only the Canada and USA games kind of hitting capacity every game. This is where I think Czechia did fantastic, is all of the games were attended properly. I don't know if they did what countries do is for the games during the day, they bring in schools and they get the classrooms to learn about every country, and they split the classroom and the classroom cheers for whichever team they got assigned to
I
to
think
learn
that was
about it.
kind of happening, but I think that there was a mix of that happening from
Yeah.
kind of the vibe I was
Either
getting on
way,
Czech. Yeah.
they made every game feel like something, which is important. And I hope Canada and every other country that hosts after this understands that. And I truly do believe that having the SDHL more in the spotlight, having the PWHL more in the spotlight, that helps.
Yep. 100%. 100%. It's no coincidence that the all-time attendance record is set at this tournament 2 years after the PWHL begins.
Right.
Like, you can't chalk that up to a coincidence. 42 PWHL players rep their countries at this tournament. Tessa, it was great to watch all of them.
Yep.
It was cool to see. Do you want to talk a little bit about which PWHL team you think maybe will get the biggest boost from Worlds? Like,
gosh, my thing, it depends. Well, I will say this: Boston likely, because Alina Mueller likely isn't happy.
She was pissed.
Yeah, so she's going to come back upset. Tapani's just going to be cruising. She's got her bronze. Hill's got her 10th gold medal, which is a record, and a shiner. So she's looking all badass. Rattray's going to be hungry because she wasn't at right. And then you got Erin Frankel, who is just begging Montreal to pick them to play in the playoffs. And if they don't, if Boston makes the playoffs, I should say, because nothing's guaranteed right now, she's going to make damn sure her team ends up finding a way to meet Montreal in the finals. Like, she was not happy about that call, rightfully so. Yep. About that hit, I should say, the charging by Laura Stacey. And I think that Boston's going to get the biggest boost from this. Absolutely.
Yeah. One of the questions I wrote down was, what is scarier, Shiner Night or post-loss poo? Both are terrifying to me because Montreal scares me a little bit coming out of this tournament as well. Just with, I forget if we mentioned on our last breakdown that Poo, of course, the all-time points leader at Worlds for Canada. I think we did mention that. Yep. Debian set the all-time Worlds record in semifinal. Both of them wins at Worlds record rather in the semifinal. They both got those milestones in the semifinal game.
Yep.
Something about Montreal is a little bit scary to me as well. Montreal wasn't happy with their play going into the break, even though they sit in first place right now. Like, they stubbed their toe a little bit going into the break. Poulin had an amazing tournament, top forward, MVP. Jen Gardner was amazing, had the second most points at the tournament, had 10 points in her debut for Team Canada, most points for a player in their Team Canada debut at the World Championship. Desbiens hates to lose too. Yeah. So Montreal and Boston, I think, are going to be forces to be reckoned with on the heels of this tournament for sure. And then we got a little bit of an international hockey timing update for next year. Test right after the Worlds ended. Donna Spencer did this reporting, who is in Czechia. The 2026 Worlds will be held in April, 2 months after the 2026 Olympics in Italy. So that 2022 Worlds in Denmark was a one-off, the IIHF has explained, and that it is in the
IHF bylaws.
It's in the IIHF bylaws.
March or early April Women's Worlds has to happen. Which to me, at least they know this now, which is great, because with expansion news and scheduling, they are going to have to really crack down on when they are starting this league, because that is 2 major breaks in the hockey schedule. And teams are going to ask for, players to be leaving at least a week in advance of both these tournaments, at least, unless they take the April Worlds after the Olympics as like, okay, let's just bring in development.
That might be what it turns into. I don't know if it's
NCAA,
realistic.
Right?
Yeah. I don't know if it's realistic to pull away.
Because PWHL teams could say, no, we're not releasing this player.
Exactly. It's they're professionals now. Their full-time jobs lie with the PWHL. They've got contracts with the PWHL.
Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting.
I haven't heard anything about how teams are dealing with this. You and I haven't heard anything schedule-wise for next year.
No.
You guys will hear when we do, but very intrigued to see how they work this one out, because it seems like a little bit of a scheduling dilemma. So that one would not be fun to work out. Scheduling to me is such a mystery in general. Honestly, I think I want to have somebody from our scheduling department on to talk about it because I just want to be like, what? Like,
Don't
how
bore
do you
everyone else.
align
You
with
just
all
go,
the concerts? How do you align with the other teams playing playoffs in the same buildings? Like, it's crazy to me, and it gets even crazier next year with the Olympics coming into the mix. So Godspeed to our schedulers. It's not going to be a fun task for the 2026
2025, 2026
25, 26. I'm like, what year is it right now? Excuse me. Okay, so that's what we got on international hockey. Congratulations again to Team USA, who wins Worlds in Czechia. Tessa Janicki got the overtime winner there. Let's move to the expansion news now. Tessa, you were in Vancouver. You made the announcement. The rumblings had been kind of everywhere over the interweb over the last couple days, but Vancouver becomes official on Wednesday.
Yeah. Well, I technically didn't make the announcement. It was a young lady who was amazing by the name of Sidney Mildon.
Yep.
She is an extraordinary young lady. Can I just start with this? Okay, so we went up to do sound check, right? And then Sydney comes up with her mother and she's got her notes that they printed off her. And she was like, I memorized this. And I was like, that's awesome. So she rhymes it off. And they're like, that's not the right script. And I'm like, you guys. And they're like, we had a new one sent to you. We have it printed off here. Hold on. And I look and it's got like 2 more little paragraphs. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this poor kid. And so she's like, okay. She like grabs it, puts it in front of her. She's like reading it with her finger. She read over it like 2 or 3 times. And I was like, I'm going to stand right here just to help break this down for you. Like, you're only going to talk about your experience at the game. So whatever you remember about the game, if you get nervous and you don't want to look down and read, just talk about your experience at the game. She's like, no, I memorized it. I'm good. And I was like, oh, okay. She does this sound check and rips off the new script that they handed her. And with pizzazz, and she was like, we got a team, with her arms up. And I was like, my jaw hit the floor. I look at her mother. I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, well, I gave her a high five. I'm like, come on down. She steps down off the thing. I was like, girl, you've got a future in public speaking. And she's like, oh no, I want to be an actress. I was like, sweetheart, you are an actress.
That's amazing. Okay, wait, let's throw to Sidney Mildon right now. We have the clip. Sidney Mildon announcing expansion to Vancouver. She plays for the Vancouver Angels.
Hi, my name is Sidney Mildon. I'm 9 years old, and I play for the Vancouver Angels U11 C2 team. Back in January, my teammates and I went to the very first PWHL Takeover Tour game. It was the coolest day ever. We saw 6 goals, danced in the stands, waved our signs, and cheered so loud for the players. It felt like anything was possible. It made me think, I want to be just like them someday. Playing in the PWHL, it was at that game we made it clear we want a PWHL team. And today, we are so excited because right here in Vancouver, we got a team!
Like, she was so good. She needs to be a star. A child actor, whatever, anything, she's going to be in the spotlight.
Move over, Ryan Reynolds. We've got another actor from Vancouver, and her name is Sidney Mildon. Someone needs to hire this kid because she is, not only is she great in that aspect, but she's so sweet and kind and respectful. She's like the most Canadian kid I've ever met. It was like the coolest. And her mom's just super proud of her. She's the oldest of 3. It's just like, I don't know. I was proud of her. That made me really happy. And the fact, I was like, did you volunteer to do this? She's like, no, my dad told me I should, so I did. I was like, it's so casual. I just like whatever for this kid. It was awesome. Anyways, the fact that those kids got to announce it was awesome. Everyone in Vancouver is so pumped, like so pumped.
You can feel that.
Dude, I get why the league was just like Vancouver. First one up. Absolutely. It's like anywhere else wouldn't have made sense. You know what I mean? The first one had to be Vancouver. It just makes sense. And, you know, Amy Scheer, our boss, the senior executive vice president of business operations, said so herself in her speech. It was an easy yes, to say the least.
Yeah. Well, we were very lucky to have Amy on. So let's throw to our short interview with Amy, and then we'll continue to get your thoughts on the announcement in Vancouver on Wednesday. Okay, guys, really exciting times in the PWHL. Exciting times for us too here at Jocks and Jills. We are so lucky to be joined by Amy Scheer, Executive VP of Business Operations at the PWHL.
Making her Jocks and Jills debut, Julia.
Yeah, making her Jocks and Jills debut because expansion is official, guys. We're not going to Oahu. We're not going that far west. We're going to Vancouver. Spoiler alert. Thanks, Amy, for coming on. We're really excited to talk about going west and like excited for your debut too. We always have hilarious conversations, so excited to bring it to the pod.
I'm actually just excited that I actually raced to make it on the pod, and I was really looking forward to Oahu, which was maybe one of the best April Fool's posts of all time.
Wait, that was kind of your idea, though, wasn't it? Like, didn't the April Fool's joke come from you?
No, it was not my idea. It came from the PR group, and then Jane turned it around. So instead of putting it on the PWHL channels, we were like, you know what? We should give it to like Tessa and Julia. They'll have much more fun with it than we can. But I thought like hockey in like little skirts, like little grass skirts, would be fun.
It's amazing.
I think I would totally throw my name in the hat for any type of position on that team. Really, I would contemplate a comeback. If there was a team in Oahu, I mean, I think it'd be worth it.
Yeah, that is truly the dream. Close second, though, is Vancouver and the team that's going there. Amy, can you tell us like how we landed there? We all saw the Takeover Tour game there earlier this season. Marie-Philippe Poulin kind of stole the show with that superwoman goal from her belly. The crowd there was amazing. How much did that game kind of factor into this decision?
Yeah, it factored into it for sure, right? I think one of the things we talked about from the beginning was we had a whole set of criteria on how we were going to rate these cities, and like Vancouver, it came ahead of Oahu in the ratings for all of the things we were looking for. Infrastructure, right? Like we get to go and be a main tenant in a building. So now we are the primary tenant at the Pacific Coliseum, which is so cool and a first for us. So
we have the ice.
Logo is center ice. We get clean ice for the games. So it's really kind of cool. We're rebuilding all the locker rooms and everything from scratch. So it's going to be built for our players. The practice facility, the same thing. Like all the locker rooms and areas are getting stripped clean and everything's getting built up for our team. So from a venues perspective, it's just such a wonderful opportunity to build that arena out as the main tenant there. So pretty cool. It's the third largest market in Canada. And so from a population perspective, awesome. What I think one of the coolest stats from the Takeover Tour was that 72% of the people that went to the Takeover Tour game had never been to an event at that venue before. So there's a big audience in Vancouver that is ready for us, and ready for women's hockey in the PWHL. So that to me was just a really cool stat. And then one that I know you both will appreciate is that of the 9 Takeover Tour cities, the week that we were in Vancouver had the highest social media engagement of all of our 9 markets. And so that was just a really cool metric as well. And also BC hockey, I think their registration now, boys, girls, is close to 50-50. So the sport of hockey, youth hockey, is booming in Vancouver and in BC. And so many cool metrics and so many cool things happening in that city that we think there's just a wonderful opportunity for us. So a million reasons to go to Vancouver, all of them great.
They all feel right too. And just seeing all the young female hockey players that were in the stands too, cheering on the likes of Jen Gardner and Hannah Miller, and there was a whole wag of them. But anyways, nonetheless, awesome to see all of them there. A lot of people might say, there's always, people throwing criticisms out there. So they might say, man, an expansion in year 3, that seems pretty quick. But does that just speak volumes to the success of the league already through 1.5 seasons?
Yeah, I think, listen, like it's been pretty cool, right? How we've been received everywhere we've gone. It's been overwhelming, right? I mean, I talk about it all the time. Like every time we go to a game and they're sold out, I cry. Like it's hard to imagine where women's sports has come in such a long time. Because it's people like, oh, it just happened overnight. I'm like, sure, like 35 years in the making, women's sports has happened overnight. But thank you.
Yeah.
And listen, like I don't think this league has done anything conventional, right? Like I was hired 2 months before our first game. And so we launched 6 teams in 2 months, right? And, Jana, to her credit, has come up with all these amazing rules on the hockey side. And we've done really nothing conventional out of the gate. And so I can't imagine why we would then expand in such a conventional way. But the talent is there from the hockey side for sure. And we think we have a great business case to do it. And like best of all, we've got the most amazing leadership in our advisory board and ownership in the Walter Group. So we've got wonderful support who want to invest in this sport. So why wait?
Why wait? Exactly.
Why wait?
Another thing that Tessa and I will be extremely interested in. Can we expect a timeline for names and logos anytime soon for this Vancouver team?
Um, no, I don't want to commit to a timeline on names and logos.
Come on.
I will tell you we've started the process, and so we have started the process, and we're about a month in, and we've had some really fun names, and we've had some really bad names, and we've had some good laughs over them, and we've had some good jokes making fun of each other. But I at this point I don't know what the timeline will be. We shall see.
Fair enough. We'll give it.
Yeah,
We'll give you that much.
nobody likes the Vancouver Sea Cats. I want cats in a name because you know how much I love cats.
Right.
No one will go along with the Vancouver Sea Cats. They keep nicknaming me.
Technically, Oahu's not a team, so the Orcas is available as well, and we know
that
who to give
people
credit to.
really
Julia's got a
like the
logo
Orcas.
made. I mean, the work's done.
I know. I mean, the fans love the logo. We got so many positive comments. It was great.
There was a lot of love there. Amy, we know you're busy buzzing around with the announcement today. Anything else that you want fans to know about this Vancouver team before we let you go here?
I mean, if I lived in the BC Vancouver area, I'd go on to our website, thepwhl.com right now, and I would put my deposit down for tickets because they're going to see great hockey. We're going to put on a good show, and it's going to be a ton of fun. And I think we will be the place to be in Vancouver for next year's PWHL season. So get in early, become a founding member.
I completely agree. Pumped for this. Amy, thank you so much for the time. Expansion's coming, guys. Vancouver next season. Thanks, Amy, for taking the time to stop by our little podcast. I love
busy.
Amy so much. Yeah, she's so busy, dude. And I'm so in on the Sea Cats. Like, I just feel like there could be a cool logo involved with a cat surfing a wave. Preferably my cats.
Just a lot of cat moms. Do you guys?
So many. Dude, also, we got a very nice shout out during that announcement. Jana Hefford gave us a very nice shout out. It was amazing. I have to give her a shout out back because Jana, who did your hair, girl? Like, her hair was amazing.
I know.
It looked blonder. The curls were good. There was a light breeze blowing on her as she was talking, so her curls were kind of blowing in the wind. Like, Jana looked amazing yesterday.
Of course she did. It's Jada. First of all, Jana's still in like the best hockey shape in the whole world. So I don't know what the hell's going on in her life. She's got 3 kids. I don't know how she has time to even lift a weight or look at one. But like, I literally looked at her, I was like, man, I need to do better. Like, I'm trying right now.
Come on. You had the great eye makeup going. You had a great blue shirt on. Like, you guys all looked awesome. It was such a good day. The Lulu merch was very cool, too.
The what?
The Lulu merch. I'm going to have to get my sticky paws on some of that at some point.
It's great. Absolutely. But Jana just rocking it, killing it. And like, honestly, I thought about doing a shameless plug for the pod. And I was like, this isn't the space or place. I cannot do this here.
It got done anyways. Like, sometimes the universe just works out for you.
Jana, took the lead and decided to do so after I ripped her, after I was like, I'm almost as old as Jana was when she played her last hockey game. And she still showed me love. So she's the best. But yeah, that was awesome. Anyways, it was just a fantastic day. You can tell they're excited. Everybody there's buzzing. And I believe the opportunity to put your name in for season tickets, I think they're all sold out.
Sold the hell out for the best package of season tickets. So that is incredible. The response in Vancouver has been so good. One more thing about this announcement. If you guys weren't watching, whole bunch of dignified people from the Vancouver area went up to speak.
Everyone.
One of them being a city councillor, Councillor Clausen. He did a very good job. He seems like a very nice man. He had a grave omission, unfortunately. He had a grave omission in let's just play it, okay? Let's play it first and then you can comment. Here is one of the city councilors in Vancouver talking about Vancouver history, Vancouver hockey history, and Tessa reminding him of some very significant history that he forgot to mention.
So whether it is the Vancouver Millionaires, the Vancouver Amazons, the 72 Summit Series, the Vancouver Canucks, the 1994 Stanley Cup run, or the 2010 Olympics, Sid's golden goal, our city's history runs deep with the spirit of hockey.
Thank you, Councillor Clausen. Sid had 1 golden goal. Marie-Philippe Poulin actually had 2 here, but that's okay.
Okay.
That was epic. I was yelling at my laptop a little bit as I was watching from home. And then I was so glad to see one of my best friends get on stage and correct him accordingly.
First of all, you knew I was going to do it.
You had to.
I'm a smartass. I can't let anything go like that. Like I literally would lose sleep at night if I didn't open my mouth. That's the kind of person I am. And like, I don't do it in a malicious way. I do it as a jokey way. Like I'm just laughing with you.
Me and you kind of have that same thing. Like, if it needs to be said,
Gotta
we
say it.
cannot help ourselves sometimes.
Not say
and
it.
sometimes I'm even like, Julia, like, did you?
Yeah, I know. And mostly I'm like really bad I try to make it funnier the more inappropriate of a time it is. Do you know what I mean? And people are like, just so people will laugh a little and just be like, Tessa, that's really bad. And
I was actually bullying a little bit there, but we'll make it funny. Okay. So no one knows what I'm kind of best.
It's the hockey locker room Tessa that I just can't get rid of. It's just
get it,
stuck
dude.
in
We're
there.
both honestly the same with that. Like we will never let anything go.
In Counselor Clausen's defense, okay, he likely didn't write that speech.
100%.
He was just the face that was reading it. And I didn't say it to sewer the guy at all. I just said it because, like I said, it's locker room Tess. I can't not say something.
And me and you even had a conversation before we posted it because I was like, man, like I don't like making fun of people on the internet because you and I work in media. We know what it's like to say like one thing wrong and then have it clipped and be like living in shame afterwards. Yeah.
When it wasn't you that wrote it.
Exactly. So you and I were like, oh, dude, do we post this? Do we not? And then we landed on like, you probably should have looked at this.
The only reason why I gave you the green light and I was just like, I think we do. Everyone there was like, that is the most social media moment outside of the kids today. And I was like, okay, the kids, for sure the kids is the biggest social media moment. And then that, if there's going to be another one, it's that. So cool. We'll go for it. Yeah.
It had to be done. But man, I'm excited for this Vancouver team. I feel like it's going to become the next destination in the PWHL. Like we've heard what they're doing with the Pacific Coliseum.
Yeah.
It is so significant that they're going to be the main tenant there. Like their logo, shout out to Ottawa who has their logo at center ice right now. The Charge because the 67s are out, but it's so cool that this Vancouver team is going to have their logo at center ice all year long. The arena's getting totally specced out. All the tech in the arena.
So sick.
All the dressing rooms, they have a practice facility next door.
Yeah.
All the hockey history in that building and to have that be their home base. Like I feel like this is going to be a destination in the PWHL.
Absolutely. That's an obvious to me. And like if I was playing, I would kind of be looking over that way. Like, oh man, I hope they take me.
Would the travel deter you at all, Tess?
Nah.
I don't think it would for me either.
No, just because now they've got those Normatec.
Exactly.
The recovery and the treatment and everything that these players have now is like, and like if I don't play in Vancouver and let's say I play for Montreal, sweet, sign me up because you're likely going to do back-to-back head-to-heads or like game on Friday, day off, game on Sunday or something. So you get to spend time in Vancouver. Yes.
Yeah. I posted that clip of Jen Gardner yesterday and people were like, don't will Jen Gardner to leave Montreal. And I was like, no, I very on purpose made the caption, play in Vancouver more often. I'm not doing it. I'm not stirring the pot.
This is the thing. So I am so excited about Vancouver, obviously. But what I am most dialed in and interested in is the expansion draft.
Me too.
Just because I know Jaina and the league like to do things a little different. How can you do an expansion draft different? I'm not sure. Players are obviously going to have to be protected because a team can't just waltz in the league and be like, sweet, I'll take Pooh, I'll take Spooner. You know what I mean? Like you can't do that. So, and it's going to have to happen before the actual draft. So it's like, oh gosh, okay, there's a lot to digest here. I don't know. I'm excited to hear about it.
When is that again? June 26th? Sorry, I don't have it
Is it 24th, I think?
24th. I think you're right on that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't have it in front of me. But it's going to have to happen before. You guys just heard me like flipping through my agenda. Like
it's
the years
June
24th.
Tuesday. Yeah.
Okay, so it's going to have to happen before then. I am pumped. Like expansion is a real thing. Congratulations to everybody who worked really hard yesterday on that announcement too. And everybody who's worked really hard to make the PWHL in Vancouver a reality. It has been a grind for everyone. So hats off and a couple clicks for everybody who got that done. Okay, PWHL regular season resumes on Saturday.
My gosh.
Thank God. I missed it so bad.
Is everybody freaking out as much as I am?
I'm freaking out and I've been freaking out. And I like literally sit at my desk all day and freak out and look at the standings and look at the gold plan and look at
like when you're a hockey player, these are the types of games you want and not just one. Like you want 3 like they have before playoffs because technically everyone playoffs are starting now. Like Saturday, everyone's hitting the ground running, like full bore, 15 out of 10 sprint. And it's going to be awesome. The physicality. This is the other thing I wanted to mention before we get into this. I know that the disciplinary crew at the PWHL had meetings with all of the GMs and coaches and went over every specific rule. I'm pretty sure the league and everyone within it, like players who have played, Cassie, everybody understands the intensity of all of this. And they know that like these players are going to be so driven and dialed to get their teams locked into these playoffs that they're like, okay, we need to just go over the physical rules, like no hitting, going in opposite directions. If you're going to nail someone, you have to have an actual attempt on the puck. You can't just like half-ass it and then drill them through the boards. So, because obviously they want all the teams healthy as they can be heading into the playoffs.
Right.
Anyways, the standings are insane.
Yeah. Okay, here's where we're at with each team sitting with 3 games remaining on their regular season. So they can each earn a maximum of 9 points before playoffs. Montreal sits in first place with 48, Toronto 45, Boston 40, Ottawa 39, Minnesota 38. Like that is the craziest thing ever.
That's insanity.
New York has 33. So technically New York has a 0.9% chance.
So you're saying there's a chance
making it to the postseason. I was looking at the gold plan this morning, Tessa, and like, girl, you know me with math. Like my eye was twitching out a little bit as I was looking at it because I saw New York with a 119.31% chance of having the first overall pick, and I'm like, that math ain't mathin'. But then I looked at I kind of looked at exactly what graph I was looking at, and it was the percent of simulations each team picked first overall. So New York picked first in 119.31% of simulations that Adam Gold ran. Minnesota picked first in 7.83% of simulations. Ottawa picked first in 2.58% of simulations. And Boston picked first in 0.84% of simulations. Toronto and Montreal did not get the first overall pick in any scenario in any time they were in that simulation. Did that make any sense to you? Because
kind of, but not really. I mean, I still don't understand how you have more than 100%. But cool.
I read it for like 15 minutes this morning, dude. I just had to like screenshot it so you knew that I wasn't making it up. Anyways, those are the numbers. You guys know that we need to have Adam on to actually like talk to us about analytics at some point because like this is the most brick-headed hockey podcast in the world. So that's where we sit right now, standings wise.
SMRT.
2 games on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. I know I said something about a triple header. I think it was supposed to be a triple header, and then the Sunday game got changed. Maybe?
Did it?
I don't know. Montreal, Ottawa, Saturday. Toronto at Boston. Those games are staggered, noon and 2 p.m. God. The Sunday game is at noon. I love staggered games. Like you could tell that there's a lot of women working in this league because things like that are thought of. I love when the games are staggered. That's been rattling me so much about the NHL playoffs. Tessa, talk to us about some clinching scenarios because I just talked about math and I need a few seconds to cool down.
It's okay. Take a breath. Scepters can clinch a playoff spot if they earn 1 point against Boston or if Ottawa loses to Montreal or if Ottawa beats Montreal in OT or shootout or if Minnesota loses to New York on Sunday.
Okay.
So a lot
of different ways.
If Scepters just gets a point against Boston, boom, they're in.
Right. And reminder,
if
guys.
They don't, and Ottawa loses to Montreal, boom, they're in.
Boom. Reminder, guys, Montreal, the only team so far to have actually clinched a playoff spot. The Montreal Victoire are the only team still with an X beside their name.
But Montreal can clinch a top 2 spot guaranteed with at least 1 point against Ottawa.
Got it.
So they are guaranteed a top 2 spot if they get 1 point against Ottawa.
Wow. A lot going on. Do you want to... Okay, New York, how about? How soon?
Well, let's just talk about how New York can get eliminated because the 0.9%, like, we're just going to go with
real.
What's it going to take to get New York eliminated? They will officially be eliminated from the playoffs on Saturday if Boston beats Toronto in regulation and Ottawa beats Montreal in regulation.
Okay, so if that happens, then on Sunday, they start earning gold points for the
Correct.
Right, because at this point, nobody is, because that 0.9% chance still exists, and
Right.
New York still technically has a chance to get into the postseason. So that's where we sit right now in terms of standings, in terms of everyone's chances, in terms of clinching scenarios that are in the immediate future on Saturday. Let's take a look at everybody's remaining games, Tessa, and get us a little excited for
This is going to be wild.
the last three. Montreal has Ottawa. Their last game at home is versus Boston, and they're on the road versus New York. Where are we at with Montreal? I mentioned they stubbed their toe a little bit headed into the break. We were at that last game they had before the break when Corey leaned into the media a little bit about being negative. And then Pooh hates to lose. Great news for them as Anne Renee is back, and she looked really good at Worlds, and we could probably expect her to continue the same thing into the postseason.
Yeah, so I feel like for the most part, everyone is healthy on Montreal, which is great. You mentioned Debbie being back. Gardner, she's going to be riding high after a fantastic showing at Worlds. Whether she was on that top line or the fourth line, I feel like there's a full head of steam coming from that kid.
Yeah. Can I mention somebody we haven't talked about at all?
Yep.
Kristen O'Neill had a pretty good tournament too, and she's been quiet for Montreal. I think people had her circled on that Worlds roster as like a little bit of a question mark, and then she was really good at that tournament. That's just more great news to keep pouring on for Montreal.
Totally. Another player, like you said, that's going to be coming back, maybe with a little bit more confidence than they left with. You said Pooh will be angry. She's going to be angry. She didn't get the color she wanted. And also, last year, she's going to want to avenge their first round loss, rightfully so. In order for this team to be successful moving forward into the playoffs, their D-core needs to be huge for them. Like, their D need to be what USA's D was to them at Worlds, essentially. Be continually or consistently contributing, right? Don't be the reason why, there can't be any pizzas up the middle. Don't be the reason why a team found their way back in. Like, this D-core needs to hold it down, because secondary scoring on this team is going to be their Achilles heel, I feel. And if this team can't find secondary scoring, the playoffs are going to be very hard. But they have a lot of great defenders that can score as well. So if they can get that secondary scoring from the back end, that would be huge for them. I think they're going to need to prove, because like you said, they didn't do well they stubbed their toe a bit going into Worlds. They lost 4 of their last 5 games before the break. That ain't good. So you got to come back with a vengeance here, and you kind of have to prove to the league why you're in first place, why you're number 1, why you were a Walter Cup favorite, right? Because it didn't mean anything once the playoffs start. But if you can just kind of plant a seed, or just, give everyone, a quick spanking and remind them like, hey, like, we're here. This is us. This is why we're number 1. Then just get them kind of second guessing themselves heading into the playoffs. I think that's huge. Just pray that they don't run into Boston, because like I said, Erin Frankel, I think, will end up scoring goals and getting assists if they face each other. She's not
have
losing.
A breakaway.
She ain't losing.
Yeah, you could tell she was rattled after that hit, and I saw some commentary online too. I said, and I stand by the fact that Laura Stacey just plays the game hard. Like, I don't think she went in there looking to bulldoze Erin Frankel. I still think that on that play, even if the result was technically illegal, I don't think it was on purpose. But there was a lot of commentary online after the fact, being like, "Well, remember, those 2 teams met in the playoffs. Stacey knows how to throw off Frankel's game," type of thing, which is definitely a factor in that collision.
Yeah, I don't know how much Laura Stacey was thinking about Walter Cup playoffs in the gold medal game, to be honest.
That's what I mean. Like, she's full tilt, but I could
not.
understand why it would double piss Frankel off.
100%, absolutely. It would piss anyone off, and rightfully so. If it doesn't upset you, then you probably shouldn't be playing.
Yeah, 100%.
And when Boston comes to town and plays Montreal, you best bet Frankel's going to be tossing money on the block for that game.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Faux show.
Carry on.
Let's move on. Toronto. Everybody has 3 games remaining. They play at Boston and then 2 at home, New York and Ottawa, to end the season. They signed Cassidy Sauvé with Reagan Kirk out.
Yeah.
I thought that was an interesting move. So I don't really know what happens there with their goalie position. And I haven't heard anything about Reagan Kirk either. Have you?
No, I haven't heard any announcement on it. Obviously, Gina and Troy were away at World, so I didn't really want to bug them about PWHL stuff while they were away. But Toronto had a lot of players at Worlds. So how rested is this team? Like, how much gas do these players actually have left? Because I remember last year, You and I chatted with a couple of them
Oh yeah.
at was it at the draft? It was at the draft I was talking, I think, with Pooh and stuff, and I was just like, even Gabby,
Or
yeah, it
even
was
in
Gab
Utica, the
I
girls were
can't
like, I
remember.
can't believe we're not going on vacation right now.
No, but I'm pretty sure I talked to Gabby about it too. She's like, we didn't play in the playoffs, but even playing after Worlds felt weird and we were exhausted. And it's just muscle memory, I guess, for these ladies, where usually after Worlds, it's game over. Instead of like all of a sudden kicking it into sixth gear, you've got 3 games left and oh yeah, playoffs. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Sorry to bring this up again, but that just like makes next year sound even more ridiculous to
Insane.
me.
I
Like,
know.
let's mix in an Olympics with
I know.
that. Anyway, sorry to bring that up
That's
again.
why I think it'll be a lot of NCAA players and junior players, regardless.
Yeah.
So how much gas is left in all these players? Good news is that Campbell actually saw game time while she was away.
So pumped for her too.
great.
She looked
Yeah.
good too.
Watts
We got to
looked
give
great.
her clicks.
100% Campbell, good for you. Watts looked great as well, so they're going to need her to stay hot. Again, how much gas is left? I don't know. And I want to see Toronto specialty teams ignite again. I feel like that power play that Troy didn't want to touch for a while and just let it be and let it do its thing.
Yeah.
Got to see that come back. They didn't walk into Worlds with their heads hanging down at all. They won 3 of their last 5 games.
Mhm.
They did lose 5-2 to Minnesota in their last game, so that was a bit of a beating. But my thing is like, don't let that game and the fact that you had a ton of your players play at this Worlds and then come back and just drag your heels a bit, because that last game can easily be your fate for the last 3, because you got Boston coming in. You got New York, who's got nothing to lose. All they want to do is play spoiler. And then you got Ottawa, who's fighting for their lives in the last game of the season.
Yeah.
Like, no games off there. Not
No,
a
I know.
shift.
No. Yeah, we'll talk about Ottawa, but Ottawa's so interesting to me. Toronto has a couple interesting players who Worlds related. I feel like Hannah Miller is going to be really motivated after like the promise of playing at Worlds, and then listen, she got to kick around Toronto, and I'm sure she had a nice break, but would have much rather been donning her country's colors for the last few weeks. And Natalie Spooner, I think, is going to be really motivated coming into the end of the season and playoffs. She was the league MVP last year. She scored at just an unbelievable rate. I don't know if we'll ever see it again. She was so dominant last season. Like, nobody has gotten to the amount of goals that she had last season in the regular season yet.
I know.
In a longer season yet. Like, it just speaks to how crazy that year was last year for Natalie Spooner, just for her to be scratched in the semis and the finals. Like, she is going to come out with vengeance, I think, in the last 3 games of the PWHL season and the playoffs.
Yep. And, Buckles had mentioned it in our post-Worlds reaction that, Spooner's coming back from a pretty major injury, and it hasn't really even been that long. So in the back of my head, it's like, okay, they brought a ton of players to Worlds, 25 to be exact, which they could interchange any of them at any point. So Gina and Troy are probably looking at this thinking, like, do we know? I don't know Spooner's health. I didn't get an update on it at all. I had reached out and asked. I got crickets. But was there fatigue there? And they're obviously testing her knee on the regular to make sure that they're not putting her in a compromising position, as is she, I'm sure. She wants to make sure she's safe out there. So is the leg a little bit tired? Do you know what I mean? Did they rest her on purpose, knowing that they've got some serious hockey to be played coming back? They are the GM and the head coach of the Toronto Sceptres, a team who also lost out last year that probably shouldn't have.
Yeah, it's
Right?
interesting. Yeah, either way, I think she's going to be motivated, but I wonder if that was a factor in those decisions, and the fact that, like, when you win in the semis, it's hard to change a winning roster anytime you win. So definitely factored in as well. Okay, Boston. Boston has Toronto. They play at Montreal. They finish their season at home versus Minnesota. Let's start by asking the biggest question in the room. Have you heard anything about Erin Frankel and her health, and if she's going to be available to Boston here?
I've heard it's an upper body injury, and I don't know if she's going to be ready to play. I think that's going to be up to their coaching staff, but I will say this, if I'm head coach and I get the green light from the doctors and the coaching staff, then I'm throwing her in because why not?
Of course.
But the other thing is like, if they're like, she's going to need, 2 of the 3 games off, I'm shrugging it off if I'm Courtney Kessel, because you got Emma Soderberg and Klara Peslarova.
Who are both really good at Worlds.
Fantastic. IMO, in my personal opinion, I'm putting Klara Peslarova in.
Interesting.
She is more than capable and absolutely proved to me without a doubt that she is a starter in this league. Her performance at Worlds was fantastic, especially against the United States in that semifinal game. I don't know. I think that she's fantastic. This Boston team,
because she hasn't started a game yet in the PWHL, has she?
And she went in for 1 game, didn't she?
She didn't start though. Yeah, I'm just looking at it. She went in for 40 minutes.
The difference between 3rd place and 5th place right now is 2 points. So Boston's got 40, Minnesota's got 38.
Yeah,
which is insane to me.
Didn't allow a goal in 40 minutes. Sorry for her in the only 40 minutes that she's seen in the PWHL. So that's
She's
totally
great.
true. She should get a look.
Yeah, she'll get snagged up too in whatever type of expansion draft happens, because who wouldn't? But with the question marks that come with Boston, there's still more. Like, what's the update on Bilka?
I don't have you heard anything about Bilka?
No, I've got to find out. I've sent out emails and a couple of texts. Everyone's keeping their cards really close to their chest, rightfully so. I get
Fair
it.
enough, guys. Like, let us yap about it on the podcast. Come
Let
on,
us
we have
yap.
content we need to make.
But it'll be interesting to see there. Regardless, like I said, Rattray is going to be hungry and rested and pissed off. Knight going to be cruising off of her 10th World's gold. Tapani, same thing. She's got a bronze around her neck. Mueller's going to be pissed off because her team didn't play as great as she wanted to, nor did she. Keller, man, what a tournament she had. All of these ladies need to lead the charge with this team. There's going to be a huge, massive, big last game against Minnesota. All points matter in this. Like, all points matter in these last games for these last 3 teams that are really battling, like, in a serious bare knuckle boxing match for the last 2 spots in the playoffs. Boston too, like, they didn't really wheel into Worlds doing that great. They lost 3 of their last 5 heading into Worlds.
Yeah. Anything else on Boston?
No, that's it. Just I would fear this team a little bit.
I would fear Boston too. And the thing I was looking up about Ottawa was exactly what their record was to end last season, when they had 4 different opportunities to punch their ticket to the playoffs and be in control of their own fate. Is it kind of a nightmare for Ottawa that they're almost in the same position this year? Like, or is it a dream come true that they could rectify it here?
I think it's a dream come true. And I think it's a moment that a team needs in order to take that extra step and grow, together. Like, are you always going to be that team and, your GM's going to have to look how to dismantle things or add or whatever? Like, I don't know if you can talk about a rebuild yet, but like a restructure, if you will. But I think it's fantastic. You always want to be able to control your own fate. You never want to rely on other people. And for Ottawa, this is something that they're going to have to do. And they've got a goaltender who's mad confident right now.
Oh my gosh. Like, what could it have been a better scenario for Ottawa's goaltending at Worlds than Gwyneth Phillips going in the gold medal game and winning it? Like,
unreal.
It was
her
just
interview
so
with Britt Dort afterwards was awesome as well. She's like, I don't even know what's happening. Like, I don't know what happened. This is the greatest thing ever. Like, I don't know. I just
that was
went
a great
in.
interview.
Right? It was just so honest, and I loved it. So huge win at Worlds for her when she was in a tough spot. Just like, oh, by the way, you got to get in there now, which, I mean, I'm sure every backup's like, yeah, you're always kind of ready, but like, come on. You know what I mean? How ready are you? Regardless, she had to go in a very intense game. That went to overtime and they freaking won, which is awesome for her. She gets to skate down the ice, toss her gloves, jump
I was
on
sweating
that dog
for her,
pile.
and it didn't seem like she was sweating at all. It's like, okay, Gwen, like, chill out. Like, you're just so calm, cool, and collected.
She gets back in that locker room. Everybody better be talking her up about it. If I'm her teammate, I'm like, oh, big dog. You got to get in that head. Build her up, because she needs to ride that high, because she's going to have to probably steal a game for them. Or 2. Look at, they're playing Montreal, Minnesota, and Toronto.
It's not a very fun way to end the season when every game is a must-win scenario for you.
Yeah. The Czech players are going to be chippy as hell. They're going to be real pissed, especially Vanisheva. Everyone just needs to be like, when she's on the ice, just fear for your life.
Yeah. Okay, what is going on with Morozova? Can we talk about that?
Yeah.
Reports earlier this week from Czech media that she was playing with 2 broken bones and a torn ligament in her wrist. I'm just looking at Twitter, and Chris Sinclair, who does a really good job.
Yep, he's awesome.
In Ottawa, is saying that she is on the ice right now in Ottawa, full gear at practice. What have you heard about the scenario? It is really toughy luck, in my opinion, if she was really injured and going to play for Czechia and not having played for Ottawa in a while. I'm glad that she's back in full gear. Like, what have you heard about her health?
That I'm not sure. My thing is like Carla would have, it's Carla.
Exactly. So, like, that's what doesn't make any sense at all to me about it.
Carla would have a very good feel on what's going on. So maybe she had broken bones and a torn ligament, which broken bones, it depends what bone in your hand is broken.
Yeah.
Right?
And maybe
like if it's your scaphoid, you're not messing around.
Yeah. I'm starting to think like maybe a lost in translation moment with Czech media or something to that effect, to do with the...
Maybe it was past tense,
the reporting
and she's
done.
Recovered now. Not that it was in the moment broken bones in your hand with a torn ligament. But who's to know? She knows. Regardless, she's on the ice, which is fantastic news for them.
That is amazing news.
Yeah.
For the Ottawa Charge. And I think that these Czech players are going to come out with vengeance. Like, my heart is still breaking for them over what transpired on home ice versus Finland in that bronze medal game. Even what happened in the semis versus the USA when they were a goal away from making such significant history on home ice. I think Ottawa is going to come out with vengeance with a mix of those Czech players. Jenner wasn't played at all in overtime either.
I know.
Maybe that'll put a little pep in her step, chip in her shoulder for this end of the season. Like,
here's the thing with Ottawa. I'm not looking at one particular or 2 particular people to carry the load and get the job done. I'm looking at the team as an entirety. Like, you need to do this by committee and like keeping each other accountable for a full 60 minutes. Like, you cannot take a shift off. Like, it just needs to be in waves with Ottawa. And it doesn't necessarily mean every shift you're getting an offensive chance or, you're creating something. What I mean by in waves is the fact that, like, of course, the other team's going to have an opportunity to exit their zone and come through the neutral zone and enter your zone and play in your zone a little bit. But you need to make that a living hell and the hardest hockey they've ever played. So that when you're in the D zone, you are literally going 100% as hard as you can everywhere, playing smart, but like following through, finishing your checks, lifting sticks, a quick chip off the glass and out 50-50 puck in the neutral zone race, make their defense, other team's defense have to turn around and really work to get that puck and work to get back in your end. And it just constantly has to happen everywhere so that no matter where they turn, it's like, oh my gosh, here they come again. Oh my gosh, they're here again. It's just like there never needs to be a time where a team can breathe.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at with Ottawa. Because if you do that, you're incredibly hard to play against, and the position you're in is tough. You're sandwiched between 2 teams that know how to win playoff games, and they want to get back in the playoff. The one underneath you is the reigning champ, and the one above you is the one that lost in game 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
And right now, Ottawa is the team that just couldn't get in by their own accord right now. Like, they have to change that narrative themselves.
Do it yourself. Do it, everybody. And it's got, like I said, it's got to be by committee. Every single person in that freaking room needs to look around and trust everyone else. Like, yes, I know you're going to go out there and you're going to do your job right and better than anybody else. Yes, I know you are going to go out and give me 110%. And it's not to say that mistakes aren't going to happen. They are. It's a game of hockey. They're supposed to. But that's the point where it's like, I trust you. Like, I know if I misstep or do something, I trust that you're there for me, kind of thing. And they have it. I think they have it because we saw it a little bit after that 3-0 lead meltdown.
Yeah. Right. They really picked themselves up after that in that takeover tour game. When Venisheva got the hat trick, like it was positive vibes for the Ottawa Charge heading into the break.
100%.
We'll see if they can continue that.
And going into Worlds, they won 3 of their last 5, I think.
Yeah.
They won 3 of their last 5 before heading into Worlds.
Good vibes.
Great
Good vibes for the Ottawa Charge. I want to see them change the narrative about themselves this year, so I'm rooting for them. Minnesota, their games are at home versus New York, and then they're on the road versus Ottawa and Boston to end it.
Yeah, That's wild.
They
That's
had some
wild.
players play really, really well at Worlds too.
Yeah.
Like their veterans, Lee Steckline,
I know.
Kelly Panic.
I know.
Kelly Panic.
I
And you
know.
got the text from her mom, which is such an honor.
Mall Doll reached out. She tossed a text sending us. She's like, wish you guys were here. I was like, oh, this video is going to kill Julia, but I'll send it to her. We wish we were there too. Regardless, tough sketchy to end the season. On the road against the two teams you're in a battle with for the last two spots in the playoffs. Like, what?
Yeah.
That is, you want to
The
talk about,
playoffs.
that is the playoffs. But you want to talk about a team that, put their fate in their own hands last year and took care of business when they needed to.
So true. Yeah.
Minnesota.
Minnesota likes to have things in their control.
On
They
top
didn't
of
seem
it,
stressed about it either last year.
no, they were pissed off about it and they kept
Yeah.
it to themselves. On top of it, they've got two very rested goaltenders, both studs. One probably thinks she probably should have been on the team this year, and the other was like, you got rid of me a little too soon. I could play there too.
Yep.
I don't know. This is the time of year that this team thrives. Kava, I'm excited to see. She's rested.
Rested.
The
Yeah.
Shepard's rested. You got Zumwinkle. Okay, Panic won. She's going to just stay hot because she's walking home with a gold medal around her neck. She had
She
those,
loves it. She has so much
she had
swag,
those
man.
celebration shades on with a couple of chains,
She's so
maybe
cool.
a few bevies.
We got to get on the golf course with her this summer.
I know.
I want to do a
Heisey?
Minnesota golf trip. Like, I want to go golfing, and I want to go golfing with Heisey, and I want to go golfing with Panic, and I want to go golfing with Caroline Harvey and Layla Edwards. That's my dream for this summer.
Okay.
You're like, okay, shut up. Keep going.
Just break 100 first, Julia. We'll get you there. Because we're not going there and getting embarrassed.
Scramble will be
Heisey's going to
fun.
be moonwalking back into the rink with her sweet assist that she had on the game winner. Zummy's got to get going. Coin, Panic, Jakes, Steckline, Kava, they're going to carry this team. Like, when you're with Minnesota if you're taking on Minnesota, if they're playing in your barn, just know that it's going to be playoff hockey from puck drop to puck stop, like nonstop. This team knows how to get it done. They know the equation. All they're doing is plugging numbers and running away. They lost their last 3 of 5. No, sorry. They lost 3 of their last 5 games heading
Got
into
it.
Worlds. So they were stumbling a bit heading into Worlds as well. And like I said, you got to wonder about fatigue as well with this team because that's a lot of players that were away doing awesome stuff.
Yeah, it's a fair point. Okay, our last team here, we've talked about that 0.9% chance of making the playoffs. New York, who loves to play spoiler. Like, they do like earning gold points. Where are we at with this New York team? They've got Minnesota on the road. They've got Toronto on the road. They finished their season at home versus Montreal.
So just play spoiler. Just embrace the role of the villain in this league, and things actually might turn out in your favor because you never know. It just takes a team or two to tank. And also pad your stats. You're a goal scorer, you're a playmaker, whatever. Be a little bit selfish this time of year. Try new things, see what happens. And then, if you do get eliminated, it's the gold points plan, baby, because you want that first overall pick again.
100%.
I mean, you feel bad talking about it like this because, like you said, there's still a 0.9 chance, but like, I'll throw my money on the 99.1% that says they're eliminated. Anyways, they're hot. They won their last 3 of 5. They won 3 of their last 5.
If we were in the building, honestly, they love winning.
They need to pay us to go to their games apparently because we are their good luck charm and every other team's kryptonite.
Yeah, it's so true. So we love that New York team. Even though they're in the position they're in, they're always giving such good vibes. They look like they're having a good time. I'm sure they'll continue that through their last 3 games of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Let's kind of remind you guys where we're at points-wise in the PWHL. Hillary Knight, with her shiner, leads the league in points right now with 28. Sarah Fillier, the first overall pick for New York that we were just talking about from last year, 27 points. Daryl Watts for the Scepters with 26. Hannah Miller for the Scepters as well with 24 points right now. Poulin leads the league in goals with 17. Knight is very hot on her tail with 15. I feel like Venishva has a very quiet 15 goals. Like, you and I sit on our podcast and scream about it every time she scores, but I feel like it's being underrated, the rate at which she's scoring this year.
Maybe. I don't know. She gets them in chunks, I feel.
That's true.
It's not a goal here and a goal there. It's like, I'll get a hat trick here. I'll score 2 and get an assist here.
Yeah.
Like, she gets them in chunks.
Yeah, and it's funny, the two goalies leading the win stat right now, Desbiens with 13, Frankel with 12. Like, that is a goalie duel for the ages, man. Those two. You love to see it. So we're going to talk a little bit more about prospects and stuff leading up to the draft. The draft is on the 24th of this year. So we're going to shake up Emma Buckles' segment a little bit. Bucky's, come on in here. We're going to shake up, break it down with Buckles. It's going to be more of like a who to watch. How are you, Buckles? How's your Thursday? We're recording on Thursday.
I'm doing great. How about you guys?
Good. We're good. I'm pumped to hear who we're watching, who we got eyes on this week, Buckies.
Absolutely. So this week, I'm going to talk about two players specifically. I got my papers here, so if you hear them,
I like it. Very official.
Notes.
So both of these players were top 10 finalists for the 2025 Patty Kazmaier Award this past year.
Said it right.
Not Caddy Kaz.
Bravo.
And we're going to start off with Kristina Koltinkova, otherwise known as Koltikova. And she, like I was saying, top 10 finalist for the Patty Kaz. Fun fact, first Czechia nominee. So that's pretty cool. And she was top point getter for Czechia. Tied top point getter this past Worlds with 6 points in 7 games. Throughout her college career, she played 171 games, tallied 233 points. She's a 2002 birth. Okay, let's talk about her though. So she's an offensively gifted player. She has a great shot. She's very skillful. And something that sets her apart though is she's super physical as well. She will get involved in the dirty areas of the ice. She's an incredible net front presence. She's an absolute menace to deal with as a defender. And she loves to battle and use her 5'9" frame to her advantage.
Does that not just sound like the Czech breed?
Dude, I was just gonna say, like,
physical,
is it just,
a nightmare
should she
to
show
deal
up
with
at the draft in Ottawa, or should she just grab a jersey and head to the game? Like, I don't know.
Well, with that being said, with the PWHL obviously being a very physical league now, I just see this translating extremely well. And so I remember playing against her my senior year. And I was like,
Where'd she play again, Buckles?
She played at Colgate. And I was like, did I miss this girl this whole time? Like, she's like a senior out here. She was just a sophomore, but just the swagger and talent that she had, I was like, wow, I noticed her right away. And
confidence was there?
Yeah.
You thought she was a senior and she was a sophie?
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, did I miss her this whole time? Like, she was just out there, like, calling the shots, like, extremely talented and just a player to watch, essentially.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So team fits potentially for her, I think, would be New York. They got a lot of skillful goal scorers, but, you know, somebody to get into the dirty areas, be a menace net front. I think
sounds like she's got the New York attitude, too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I also think Montreal. I mean, I think she would fit really well with their play and just very talented, but also gritty, and will get involved in the dirty areas. So
I agree.
First,
The grit.
I like that, Buckles.
Yes, Buck.
Okay, you guys,
I like
on to the
that.
next. I'm going to bring up one of Tessa's favorites and one of mine as well, Haley Wynn.
Who dis? Yeah,
Oh,
Haley
love
Wynn.
her. Love
She's
her.
so good, man.
2003 born. She played 151 games in college at Clarkson, tallied 131 points as a defender. And yeah, she's one of my favorite Ds to watch. What makes her so good, she's exceptional at skating. Her skating ability, she moves well on the blue. She creates offense with this skating and maintains tight gaps, which is a dream for every defender. She has such a sound defensive game. She's got a great stick, and she has a great first pass exiting the zone. Something very underrated.
You know what I love about her, and it's hard to do. Who else does it well? I'm trying to think. Aaron Ambrose does this well, actually, as well. Along the blue line, when the D has the puck, sometimes when they're along the boards and they're being pressured by a player, they're really good at getting off the boards and taking the middle of the ice, which is extremely hard to do with confidence. And like, she's not always just like busting that way. Like, she'll make a little move and then come to the middle and dish it and get it back. Like, or she'll fire a shot on net. Like, she's got such great poise, like you said. It's just incredible to watch. And it's like, I don't know. I never know what she's going to do when she has it up there, but I always feel safe when she does.
She's reliable.
That makes sense.
That's like one of my big points here. She's a reliable defender. Like, obviously is great defensively, but great on transition as well, knows how to take ice when given it, and gets involved in the offensive end, has an incredible point shot. And this is big for defenders coming to the next level. It's being able to get a strong point shot through traffic. And she does this extremely well. And it's led to obviously a lot of her goals and assists throughout her college career, and can see this being a huge asset to any team. And when talking to one of her teammates, actually, this is something to note. One of her old teammates, she said that she is an attention to detail player, unmatched work ethic and compete level, and is a natural leader. So she just sounds like a dream on and off the ice. And any team would love to have this player.
Yeah. Pun intended. It's a win if you get her.
A win. It's a win. Like how can you be so good at hockey and your last name is Win?
Because all she does is win, win, win.
It's like the Renata Fast, like with that last name too. It's just like you gotta live up to it.
Like you couldn't have been anything else. I guess Renata would have worked for soccer too. But man, Hayley Wynn, pumped to see her play in the PWHL. Pumped for the draft coming up June 24th in Ottawa. We're going to be there. We're really excited to be involved, and Buckles is going to be breaking down all the draft eligible players until we get to that day. And remember, guys, we will get an official list of all the players who have declared for the PWHL draft when the declaration window closes on May 8th. So we're getting closer to that.
To all the younger players who are either in university, going to university, or younger than that, work on your shot. Because the better you shoot, the more you separate yourself from everybody. Like, Pooh's a threat. She's got a mean shot. But all the young kids out there, work on your shot endlessly. Work on your shot. Figure out what stick works for you and hone in on that. Because you got a great shot, you're going to separate yourself from everybody. That's all I got to say, especially defenders.
Yeah, that's a great point. Buckles, you want to tell us anything else before you leave? What are you doing this weekend?
Where are you?
Where am I right now? I'm actually, apparently my pool's under construction. I'm like in the basement right now.
Is it the indoor pool or the outdoor pool?
Yeah.
I just messing with you.
I literally don't have, I just an outdoor pool. So so I'm like hiding it downstairs right now, which is super fun. This weekend, nothing crazy. You know me. I just stay inside and be good.
You're a cat.
Well, that's not true. And now we're kicking you off because you just lied to us. Bye, Buckles. See you next week. No, just kidding.
Okay, bye, you guys.
Love you,
Later,
Buckles.
Buck.
Thank you for the analysis. Appreciate you. That was great. I'm pumped for the draft test.
Yeah.
Ottawa this year, like I feel like the fans in Ottawa are going to be excited. Hopefully it comes after a good playoff run for the Ottawa Charge.
This draft class is wild. This draft class is going to be wild.
It's just going to keep getting better as the years go on. Like, I'm pumped about this one. I'm already pumped about next year's as well. And the year after that as well. So the draft classes are just going to keep getting better that we get in the PWHL. Okay, let's get to our interview this week. We teased off the top of the show. It's with a North Vancouver native, Hannah Miller. Like, somebody that I feel like everybody in hockey wants to talk to or about right now. It was really intriguing what happened with her. Intriguing, but also unfortunate, because we all think that Hannah Miller deserves to be on Team Canada. She earned the opportunity to don her team's colors. Unfortunately, due to technicalities, it didn't work out this time.
Yeah.
But we were pumped. We got to sit down and talk with her, Tess.
Yeah. And nice to hear her side of the story and how she processed it and how everything came to be. So we were fans of her before she came on the pod, and we're even bigger fans of her now that we had that opportunity to sit down with her. So hope everybody enjoys this one.
Fan, like literally I'm a fangirl. You guys will hear this in there, but I watch her food reviews endlessly. So let's
You'll
get to
hear
the interview
about
now.
that.
Hannah Miller from the Toronto Sceptres. Okay, guys, we're really excited for this one on Jocks and Jills. This player has been ripping it up for the last couple seasons with the Toronto Sceptres, and like she's just one of the most interesting people in hockey. Her career has been a world tour, and I feel like everyone's interested to talk to her right now. So welcome to Jocks and Jills, Hannah Miller.
And we've literally been hounding her and harassing her just to come on, and we've finally gotten her weak enough to agree to come talk to us two idiots. So yay!
We have been chasing her. Thanks for doing this, Hannah.
Oh yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I'm excited.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so the more that I think about you, like I was looking at your DB and like where you're from this morning, you are such a North Van girl. Like you
100%.
Totally give that
Scream
energy. Tell us about growing up in North Vancouver. Do you are you that person that's really proud of where you're from? Because like, honestly, you're like kind of a walking ad for North Van.
Yeah, I think for sure. Like, that's funny. The Arc'teryx and the hiking gear, probably. Yeah. But no, I think it was like a really great place to grow up. Just so much to do, always like outdoors. I was always kind of, grew up in a really good neighborhood with like a bunch of kids around my age. So we were always like out and about on bikes or playing basketball or road hockey or whatever it was. So yeah, definitely a great place to grow up for sure.
The most Canadianism saying ever. We were always just out and about, you know, out and about.
Yeah.
So
coming
true.
up with like kick the can, like all that type of stuff. Yeah.
Did you guys ever play Darky Dark?
No, what's Darky Dark?
It's basically like kick the can, but in the dark.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I've never heard of that one either. We were big on Grounders in Thunder Bay.
Yeah, Grounders. Yeah.
It was a good playground.
Grounders, yeah.
Cops and Robbers.
Cops and Robbers.
But we would play it like, we'd play it like full like tackle. Like it wasn't just you had eyes on or like tag someone. It was like you had to like fully get them into like submission.
Yeah, you had to fully perform an arrest.
It was pretty hardcore. And actually, one of my one of our friends that we grew up on the street with, he's our CMP now back in Vancouver. Okay. So we like to give him a hard time that he always took Cops and Robbers like super seriously. But yeah,
you guys just helped him train.
Exactly.
Did you guys ever play Beans, where it's like one person hides and everyone else is it? And then if you find the person hidden, you hide with them until you're the last one out alone looking for some people in the dark?
No, that's funny.
That's a good one. It was terrifying. When you were the last one, you were like, this is horrible. I am alone out here in the dark and everyone's hiding together.
Oh my gosh. You were playing a lot in the
North
dark,
Van probably, playing that North Van would have probably been more terrifying because you're like, I gotta dodge coyotes.
Yeah.
Seriously, dude, I'm so scared of cougars. Like I spend a weird amount of time thinking about how scary mountain lions and cougars are. We don't really have to deal with them up here, Tessa. Like it's like a different game. No. Like there's cougars in Vancouver. Brown bears, those things are terrifying.
Yeah, sometimes they would there'd be like a cougar spotting in the playground, and everyone would have to like be called inside or like get sent home from school.
See, that's scary.
Yeah, because they kind of hunt, like they'll stalk like people, whereas bears not really so much. But yeah,
we've taken this like really well. Like this is some of the most amazing off the rails moments I think we've had on Jocks and Jills. Like how we've taken this so far off the rails in the first 5 minutes of this interview.
Animal tracker. That's so funny.
How much did your dad playing hockey at a high level factor into you playing the game?
Definitely kind of how I got into the game, I would say. I thought he was the coolest guy ever when I was growing up. I idolized him. So I definitely, like I started in figure skating. And then I think, was doing like a learn to skate where my mom was on the ice too. And then my dad maybe hopped onto his skate with us, and I saw his black skates, him ripping around. And I was like, whoa, like what are those? Like I want those skates. Yeah. And then kind of, transition to that. But I didn't start playing till I was like 8. So like a little bit later, I guess, which is kind of sounds crazy. But
what were you doing on the interim? Just skating around?
I don't know. I think just skating, or like not even really, just doing, riding bikes and doing everything else. But
full tackle, Cops and Robbers. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Working on my talents. So like he took me down. He was like, okay, are you sure if you want to play? And I'm gonna, go get all this gear. Like you have to commit to it. So he took me down to like watch a full practice. I don't remember like what the team was, or we sat there in the window and watched the whole practice. And after he said, are you sure you still want to play this? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And then we went straight over to the hockey store, and it was kind of, never really looked back. And he always was super involved. Like he coached me like pretty much all growing up until kind of high school. So
what was his hockey experience then?
He played junior, and I think in like Bellingham, like in America. He lived kind of close to the border, so he played for a team down there, and then had a couple of pro tryouts, I think, with Edmonton. Went to Edmonton's camp and Winnipeg's camp, and a couple exhibition games, and then I don't really know.
What years did he go do that? Was Solani there? Like, what years was it? Like during the dynasty years of the Oilers?
How old's Solani? It's probably
Timu. I don't know. That guy doesn't age. He's just a beautiful man.
Yeah,
He's a beautiful man.
He's a stud for sure.
He's
So
one of my
always
crazy
so
hockey.
tanned,
Dude,
How
I
is he so
know.
tanned all the time?
Do you want to know the
Does he
coolest
live
thing?
in California?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Do you want to know the coolest thing the coolest thing that I ever learned about Teemu? So first of all, I love Teemu Solani. Like, that is my hockey crush. And Wick was like, he's my buddy. I'm like, I know, Wick, you know everyone at the Olympics. She's like, come, we'll have breakfast with him. I literally sat there, and it's rare that I am at a loss for words, and I couldn't say anything. And like, remember when he broke his jaw? And so we were eating breakfast or whatever, and Wick's like, how's the face? He's like, I used to look good. Now look at me. And I was looking at him like, no, sir, you are still so gorgeous. And I was like, I'm like, you still look fine. It's fine. And then he leaves, and Wick's like, oh, when he comes back, ask him about his Teemu party bus. I'm like, hold the phone. My crush level went from like a stage 3 to a stage 5. Dude's got a bus that he gets people on. There's like DJ station where he DJs lights and everything, and he drives people around from bar to bar on this Teemu party bus.
Wow.
I know. You need to ask your dad. If he went to camp with Teemu Solani, because
I feel like he would have mentioned that if he was there, but maybe those guys aren't at that kind of, initial first camp. It's kind of they're hanging out still a little bit first. Yeah. But
that's fair. What kind of hockey dad was he? Was he just like go discover the game, I'll be here to kind of keep you coloring between the lines? Or was he like the hockey dad that was like, if you want to be good, this is how you do it, and we're going to put you in hockey camps in the summer kind of thing? Or what was the upbringing?
I think I was pretty, like, I was kind of a stubborn kid. I still kind of am. I wasn't really going to do anything that I didn't want to do, but
fair.
He was always just super supportive, and I think like the love of the game was pretty natural for me. So he wasn't, saying, hey, you should go out and do this. It was kind of like, I was like, hey, can we maybe shoot pucks? And then he built like a shooting thing in my driveway, and put like a big spotlight up in our tree in our front yard, so I could shoot when it was dark out. I would just turn that on. So yeah, he was pretty involved, and would, definitely taught me a lot and would help me out, but he wasn't kind of overbearing or, I still, did a lot of other stuff and didn't really play in the summer or anything like that. I kind of shifted away from hockey and, rode bikes. I spent a lot of time skateboarding when I was a kid and doing all that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Are you still into skateboarding occasionally?
Yeah.
Like, can you do tricks?
Can you ollie and stuff?
I can, yeah. I haven't really stepped on a board in a while. But yeah, I can still cruise around for sure.
Nice.
Do you cruise around the city on a board?
No, I don't.
Not a penny board, nothing?
Be scary. That would be scary here with the amount of kind of sand on the ground and the traffic. I don't know.
That's true. Even rollerblading downtown is kind of dicey. I'm waiting for the day that I really humiliate myself.
I don't know if the organization would be pumped if they saw me flying around on a skateboard.
That's actually so true. That's actually so true. So you're an only child, right? I feel like we've never had an only child on Jocks and Jills.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anybody like even on our team that's an only child.
Yeah,
everyone likes to give me a hard time when I say I'm an only child. They're like, "Oh, we can tell."
Really?
Like, what does that even mean?
What do you think? I know I wanted to start chirping you about it immediately, but I didn't want to.
Everyone.
What are your only child traits?
I don't know. Like, I don't think that's a thing. But you'd have to, ask around.
Like, what do they say are the traits?
Yeah, what do they rip you for?
I don't know if they really say anything. They're just like, yeah, we can tell. You just, don't play well with others. Kind of are like always have to be right.
Are you a bad sharer? Would you say?
I wouldn't say that, but I like the banter. So if somebody's making a statement, I'm probably gonna come back with something.
That's fair.
So funny.
I love that.
I feel like only children are main character energy all the time. That day in Edmonton when everybody came dressed up as you, were you like almost unsurprised by it? You're like, yeah, everyone should kind of be dressed like me.
No, I was so shocked. Did you not see the video? I didn't even know how to react. I was like, this is so kind of like embarrassing, but like I love it at the same time. Oh my God. It was like, yeah, it was awesome. They did such a good job. They had like our assistant coach was like in on it. He told me to come down early to watch video. That was like a fake video session. I'm sitting there like,
I didn't know that.
He's saying the same thing over to me. Like, I'm like, is this guy like, he's going to tell me anything like, useful here? Or he's just going to, cause he didn't have anything prepared. Like it was just like a setup for me to be in the room. But No, they had my actual clothes from my closet, like that.
Stop.
Yeah,
I didn't know
my
that.
girlfriend was like handing out my actual clothes, like, and people were like requesting stuff that I wear, and she'd be like, "No, you can't have that because she'll notice if that one's gone up from the closet." And yeah, no, it was so funny, but such a cool memory for me, even though it's like, they're poking fun, but yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh, that is special.
I think that just speaks volumes to like what your locker room is like with the Scepters, and like, how tight knit of a group you are, and how you guys, even when things weren't going great, Troy was just like, we're not worried. We're doing all the right things right. And it felt like the locker room was still in a good place. Does that hold true?
I think for sure. It's like, the leadership and the older girls who have been there and, been through so much in their career and like high pressure situations. But yeah, it's just a really great group of people, all different characters. And it's definitely what is so special about playing in Toronto for sure, is that group. And just the staff in general too. Yeah, it's awesome.
Who's the leader in the prank stuff like that? Like, is there a singular person? Like, we had Amanda Boulier on, and she seems to be the lead prankster in Montreal. Is there someone in Toronto always causing shit?
Boo's definitely a prankster. I went to college with Boo for 1 year.
Yeah.
She loves to get into all that stuff. You're never safe. You're never safe.
She's never safe either, clearly. She's been hit by a couple cars, so don't...
So funny. I don't know if we're like prank, like we don't do like pranking. I don't know. Probably like Emma's just always in the mix with everything. Like she's just always right in the middle of everything.
Like, did you find out who led the charge with Hannah Miller Day?
I think it was probably Jessie.
Okay.
She's my roommate on the road. But I didn't ask too much. They said they removed me from a group chat, or they had like a full team group chat without me, and they were just like sending everything in there, and they're like, "You want to read it now?" And I'm like, "Not really. I actually don't really want to read you guys kind of roasting me. I don't ever need to see that
for a week straight without my knowledge."
Yeah.
You guys can keep that.
I'm like, you guys deleted that group chat now, right? Like,
that thing's not fired up, is it? That's hilarious too that you named it Hannah Miller Day. It's officially Hannah Miller Day, everyone. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Hannah Miller Day, official. Everyone's got to dress like Hannah Miller on that day. I feel like it's Battle of the Bobs here right now too. I should have put a hat on.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
You wouldn't have.
We were laughing about that day because we were like, man, Tessa. Honestly, they all kind of look like Tessa at the same time.
Yeah.
Like
you could have been my younger sib.
Yeah, that's.
I'm your older sister.
The blonde bobs. Okay, you didn't have siblings growing up. I kind of skipped ahead talking about the Toronto stuff, but you did go to Okanagan Hockey Academy with a couple players that are in the PWHL now. What's it like to have those long-standing relationships with girls that you still see playing pro? You were there with Emily Clark and Micah Zandy Hart, who you kind of also have a matching haircut with now that I'm thinking about it.
Micah's got the short hair. Yeah. It was awesome to kind of move away and take that, I guess, that next step. We were playing the JWHL, so we were pretty lucky that we got to kind of travel a lot and see different places, and kind of in that process, you're seeing a lot of different colleges too, without kind of like just because you're playing in the area. But obviously, two unbelievable players. So it was fun playing with them at that time. We had pretty good teams, and it's cool to see their hockey kind of evolution, and how they're players now in this league. Both still unbelievable players, and just great people. So yeah, it's cool.
Was it hard to be away from home like that, though? Because you're pretty young, if you think about it. Like, you would have had to have leaned on, I mean, those would have become, like, Clarkie and Zandy Hart and all of your teammates would have been your family, right?
Yeah, I was pretty lucky, actually. My mom moved up with me. So instead of me billeting, she moved up, and then we billeted a couple of the other girls. So Clarkie actually lived with us for a year, and some other players who aren't playing anymore. But so it kind of made that transition easier for me, and it's something my parents were able to do, but was also a pretty big sacrifice for them as well. So just kind of the ultimate thing, the ultimate hockey family thing to do to kind of allow me to take the next step in my career.
Designated team mom.
Yeah, a lot of pressure for her too. To have other parents' kids, kind of you're at that age too, 10, 11, 12, where it's probably not the easiest. I mean, I wouldn't want to do it.
No, I wouldn't. Like, you couldn't pay me money to go back to being like between 10 and 15.
Like,
yeah.
Your
tough
poor
ages.
mom. How much like
a lot
did
of
you guys cause?
cooking.
Yeah, no doubt a lot of cooking.
How was
My
she
gosh,
feeding
you guys
all
were
you guys?
athletes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think there was a food budget kind of we came together with all the families, and she definitely was going over that. If anyone knows my mom, she definitely wasn't really tracking that too well. It was like whatever people wanted was like, you know, it's like, oh, I need my boarse and cheese or like whatever it is.
I
like,
still need my bourse and cheese.
Yeah.
I get it.
Were you housing Julia?
That's so funny.
I need my green juice in the morning.
Exactly. Yeah.
Everyone's thinking you're the green juice in the morning, girl.
Putting in their requests. Yeah, my mom still when we Clarky was living with us, she always wanted like so many eggs in the morning, like every morning. So
many eggs? Like how many?
I don't know, but we kind of bug her that like every morning. It was like, do you need to eat eggs every morning? But I mean, worked out for her.
I'd say.
Yeah, seriously.
Exactly. Yeah.
Was she smoking darts at that time? She came on our show and told us about this dart that she smoked at like 7 years old.
No,
Hopefully
she was
she'd give it
5.
up by 10.
Clarky?
Yeah,
Clarky
caught her brother stealing a cigarette and trying it behind a barn. And in order for her not to tell on him, he made her smoke it as well. And she was like 5.
That is so funny.
Yeah, and she got sick.
No,
and they never told her mom why.
First and last time that she even came close to something like that. That's pretty funny. Those are pure lungs.
Yeah, those are pure
lungs.
Do you have any best memories from that time with all of you guys living under one roof with your mom?
Oh, I don't know if there's anything specific. Just like it was fun for me because I grew up an only child, and so I always had like friends around, and I have like a big extended family, so I had cousins and stuff. But it was kind of like having siblings, you know, at that time. So we'd kind of, there was like our homework table. We'd all kind of sit and do homework. Clarky was at that a lot. I probably should have been at it a little bit more, but yeah, we had like, you know, downstairs with like a nice big couch and just watching shows and hanging out. But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
When did you realize that you were like really good at hockey? When did it click for you? Or was it never that? It was always just something that you had fun doing?
Yeah, I think, you know, as you like get older, you kind of know like, hey, I'm like pretty good at this, I guess. But you know, you're not really thinking about it too much. You're just like, for me, it was always just like, I love being a hockey player. It was like, you know, I just wanted to like continue that and be able to do that. I still do, like till this day. It's like, let's see how long you can, you know, do this for, because there's like nothing better. And then now having it as a job is, yeah, just unbelievable.
And assuming your dream as a kid was to don the Canadian jersey, which you got to do at the under 18 team twice.
Yeah, I think for sure that's always, you know, kind of in the back of your mind, or the next step when you get to that age, U18. And those were incredible experiences, getting to go to Finland and Hungary. So yeah, I mean, always kind of a dream, and just such an honor. And yeah, really, really good experience for sure.
How did you end up picking St. Lawrence? It's
that's far away.
Long journey from where you're from.
Yeah, that's what everyone says to people, like kids that are out west. They're always like, oh, they think, you know, you're going to go to Minnesota or maybe something that's a little bit closer. But I think at that time when I was kind of going through that process, like I said, playing in the PWHL, we got to kind of see a lot of schools. Like our whole team would get to go and visit. So it was kind of cool. We'd get to see a lot of different things. But I think St. Lawrence, like when I went there, they were just so like relaxed about the process. And I think it's like exactly what I kind of needed at that time. And just the staff in general, how they kind of took the approach of like, you know, it's not just all about hockey. It's about, you know, you as a person and having a well-rounded college experience. And I think that just really sat well with me. And once I got on campus there, like so small, close knit, the feel of it, it's hard to explain, but I think it's exactly what I needed at that time, and had a ton of fun there for sure.
Who else was chasing you to go to their school? Like, who were you choosing between?
I think Wisconsin, Boston University were probably the other kind of top ones at that time. Yeah, Cornell was in there too.
Cornell was in the mix. A similar school to St. Lawrence.
Yeah. I think the the ACT testing was stressing me out a little bit with that one.
Right.
But
so fair.
Yeah, no. Yeah, St. Lawrence is unbelievable. And like the staff, like when I went there to even, way before I was there, is still together. And you don't really see that a lot in college hockey with assistant coaches. Like it's usually, people are moving around quite a bit. So I think that's a pretty unique thing. And yeah, pretty cool.
So post college, you get drafted to the CWHL, but you don't get drafted to like Markham or anything like that. You get drafted to China. Tell me about that experience. Like, was it immediate? Like, yeah, I'm going to go play. Were there a lot of conversations? Like, were you always after school really, really dedicated to keeping playing?
Yeah, I think that was like all I was thinking about my senior year. Kind of when hockey was done, it was like, okay, what's next? How am I going to continue this? And with the CWHL, like that draft was kind of like a draft. Like you're going to say it's a draft, but everybody knew, like had already known like where they were going. Or maybe it was just us in China. Like I knew, like I'd already signed my contract. I knew I was going to play in China, but the draft was just kind of like a formality. But yeah, it was like a lot of back and forth talking, of where you wanted to go. But ultimately, if I was going to go play in, say Calgary in the CWHL, like I would have had to get another job. And, so for me, it was when I started talking to China and kind of discussing everything, it's like, this is what professional hockey is. I'll be able to go over there and still play in the same league, but I'll be able to train whenever I want, have the ice whenever I want. I don't have to work another job. We have a full staff, just like a professional league should. So
I didn't know that you guys had that over there. Like I didn't know that you didn't have to work another job while you're playing on the team.
Yeah,
they were paid. They were paid to play there.
Yeah. So it was to me, it was like I couldn't even believe it. I was like so pumped. Yeah. So
what was it like living there? Like there had to have been some cool stuff that you guys got into, like not only like the food experience, which I'm totally interested in, by the way. But like
I follow
any
your
cool
food
trips?
TikToks religiously, so I'd like to hear the full breakdown from China.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. Like I always say, like I've done that flight so many times and it's such a long flight, but like the first time I was flying over there, actually from Toronto, from the draft. So the flight was even longer because we were coming from Toronto. I was just like, I was so excited on the plane that it went by so fast because I was just thinking about like, I was like, what is it going to be like when I land here? And like, I have my hockey gear, like I'm playing hockey. Like I just was like, so excited for everything, like taking in all the sights, sounds, smells, like, yeah, so pumped. But China was like, it was unreal. We were in Shenzhen. So it was like a southern part of China, kind of near Hong Kong. So it's like pretty tropical, to be honest. Like got there, pretty much bought a scooter right away. Like everyone rips around on these electric scooters to the rink, in shorts and a t-shirt every day, done by like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and you're like tanning or just going out to explore. So yeah, it was incredible. I miss it, to be honest. Like I'd love to be able to get back there at some point and, do something, run a camp or whatever. But yeah, really, really cool experience. Just a unbelievable like life experience, not just hockey, even though it was incredible what they kind of allowed us to have hockey wise, I guess, too, in terms of resources and everything. But yeah.
That's awesome. I think that would be like after college, before the PWHL, everyone used to say like, are you going to get a job or are you going to go overseas and play somewhere so you can travel? And I feel like what a perfect experience that would be for someone to jump into like yourself, to be paid to play pro hockey and like rip into the rink on a scooter and shorts and a t-shirt every day.
Yeah.
I don't know many people that would say no thanks. I don't know many people at all.
Yeah, totally. It's like, it's a place that, like a country that you never thought you would be in playing. So I guess there's kind of that where people, have no idea what to expect. And that's kind of what I would tell people if they were, asking questions about what it's like over there or whatever. It's like, you just have to have an open mind and kind of just want to take everything in. Like, don't have expectations. Like, it's not going to be anything what it's like in North America. And that's kind of the beauty of it, you know?
Yeah. They had you guys involved in the community a lot though too, didn't they? Were you guys helping run camps and stuff for grassroots programs and that?
Yeah. Kunlun Red Star, the organization has like a youth program. So we would jump out or be around kind of those kids that are learning to play hockey, and
that's cool.
Yeah, pretty cool just to see kind of like what the organization being in that area could kind of do for a game. To kind of grow. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And then what was the perspective like? Because you would have played 1 year then there, and then it became like the CWHL folded and you guys switched leagues, right?
Yeah. We switched to the Russian league. It's called the WHL Women's Hockey League, or ZHL or something. But that, and then COVID hit too, like halfway through. So my second year over there, when we were playing in that Russian league, we still were like based in China, in Shenzhen. And we would travel to Russia for a bit, play teams, and then teams would come to us and play. Like we would be there for like a month or whatever, and we'd play a bunch of teams, and we'd go back. Because China to Russia is like, it's not a super quick flight either. It's like 10 hours.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's far. So then...
And Russia's huge.
Super quick. It's 10 hours.
Well, yeah. If I'm like remembering correctly. Maybe to like certain teams, like in Siberia or whatever.
Right.
But yeah. And then COVID hit, and it was like... I felt like COVID for me was like so long because I was over in China like when it happened, versus like, and everyone in North America was like, what is happening? But the borders were closing, so we had to. They were like, we gotta pack up and get all your stuff. Like, we're moving to Russia full time. So I was kind of like halfway through that season, and we just lived out of a hotel there in St. Petersburg and finished out the season there. And then moving forward for the next couple, we were just fully in Russia.
What was that like? Like, what is life like were you in St. Petersburg the whole time?
We were, St. Petersburg's unbelievable. We were just outside of Moscow for our home base, kind of moving forward there for the next couple seasons. But Russia's super cool too. And like really cool, you know, like history, architecture, all that type of stuff, like really good restaurants. And we always had like super diverse teams. We'd have, you know, some Russians on our team, some Czechs, some Swedes, some Finns. So it was pretty cool.
Did you eat bear meat while you were in Russia? I heard bear meat is like a delicacy and something that everyone like freaks out over. Did you do it?
I never ate bear. I don't even remember that being kind of, I remember we'd go to certain areas where there was a lot of horse meat. So I was always kind of had the eye out for, you know, what's going on here.
When you get into pet territory, you're like, I don't know how to feel about
I'm like, what's in this borscht? What type of meat? Is this horse meat?
Did anyone ever love this stew? Did anyone ever ride it? Like, I don't know. I need to know that.
I don't know.
Yeah. That's so interesting, man. And then you went to the SDHL. We're doing the whole Hannah Miller World Tour right now.
Yeah, I went to the SDHL right in Stockholm for your garden and played there only for a couple months. But Sweden, Stockholm's amazing. I wasn't saving too much money there. I was like out and about buzzing around. The shopping there is amazing. And all good things to say about Sweden. That was a really cool experience too. Ton of fun.
Sweden, I found, was traveling with hockey. Every time I would leave there, I remember saying to myself, if I had to live in another country, this would be it.
Yeah.
You guys both look like Swedish girls. Like, you guys both look like you'd be on an IKEA
we might fit in.
Oh, yeah, that checks out.
Maybe that's it. I don't know. But it's beautiful there, so I totally get
it's just the darkness. The darkness a little bit.
In the winter?
When it's pitch black at like 3 p.m. That a little bit. I went out and bought like all these like sunlight lamps because I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's tough. Finland's, those Nordic countries in the wintertime when they get such little sunlight.
That's the only thing. But
yeah. Okay. And now this is it's all very interesting, but now this is like where people are really interested about your hockey story. So you went back to the Chinese team in Russia. And after that, you wound up playing in the Olympics for China. So can you kind of give the story from your perspective as to how that happened? It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was playing in Sweden actually at the time. Had the full intention of finishing the season in Sweden, and got a call from our GM. I was sitting on my couch in Sweden saying,
and the Olympics
hey,
aren't on your radar at all at this point.
No, I had no clue that would be possible, anything about that. I had known when I was playing in China that our heritage players were kind of maybe in the process of potentially getting to go represent China. So people like players who were born in Canada but had grandparents that were Chinese or something like that. But yeah, I got a call when I was sitting on my couch from our old general manager with Kunlun saying, presenting me with the opportunity of playing, potentially being able to play in the Olympics. But it was kind of like you got to leave in a week if you want to. Like you got to come join the team for like training and they were leaving for China to go early. So I kind of was like, I just was like kind of laughing at first. Like I was like, what? Like, is this real? And I think actually the first message was a text, and I was like, okay, maybe we could have a call. To make sure this isn't like a, I don't know. And then, just obviously thought about it, said, can you give me a couple days? And at that point in my career, I was like, this is just a once in a, like, this is an incredible opportunity. Like I feel like I have to take it. And although, people might think it's kind of random, like for me, it wasn't really, because up until that point, I had been playing for the same organization over in China. And, I had developed like relationships with all my Chinese teammates and a lot of those girls who are on that team. So for me, it's like, although it's not the same at all as representing your country, it was a little bit of like, pride for them. And if I can go and kind of help them take their next step, and, that kind of is a cool thing for me too. So.
Did you have to did you have to submit like a transfer to do that as well? Or what was the process there?
I didn't ask too many questions. I kind of left it all up to them. I had to obviously go talk to my GM in Sweden, who wasn't too pumped that I was randomly leaving during the season. But just kind of, and explaining the situation to him, he was like, what? You're going to Olympics for China? Yeah, it was just kind of like, and I was like, I know, but this is a cool opportunity, whatever. So yeah, I just had to kind of talk to him, but I definitely signed, like there's always transfer cards though, like whether you're playing in the SCHL or wherever you're playing. But I guess like how it was explained to me was that I had been living in China for the, certain amount of time for them to be able to kind of do that. Just like how it's kind of the reverse way now. I haven't been, I guess, playing for the necessary amount of time back in Canada. Yeah.
What was your Olympic experience like then? Because like you said, it still meant something to you to help, create that Olympic experience for your teammates. You had a connection there. It was like a home away from home for you. So getting to go and play and don the Chinese jersey, what was all of that like for you? Was it what you expected, what you had dreamed of kind of thing? Or was it something completely different that you never expected?
I mean, I don't know if I really knew what to expect. I never really, dreamed of it, because it was just like, I just couldn't, I felt like I was kind of in shock, like just surprised the whole time. And kind of always in the back of my mind had this, like, until we were actually in the village, I was kind of like, am I actually gonna be like, is this like gonna happen? Because they weren't really, just the way like the Chinese culture is, and the team and the way things are run is like, the communication is kind of a lot different. And that's something that I think is kind of an obstacle with them in terms of sports and how it is, but it's also just like the culture and how things are there. So I've kind of learned how to kind of navigate through that and learn their process and how they do things. But yeah, it was obviously so exciting getting to, I remember the bus ride into the Olympics, and we had been in China, I think, for a month before training in like this mountain town village called Tianjin, which was basically just like rooms, like hotel or dorm rooms, and the rink. And we were just, skating twice a day and training there. And it was pretty secluded. So there's a lot of work that kind of went in and led up to that point. And it was definitely more difficult too with it being COVID. There was obviously a lot of testing and crazy stuff that was going on in China. But super cool to be a part of the Olympics and the journey there. And it was cool.
Yeah, and you weren't the only Canadian that did that represented China at that Olympics, and you guys all got names. You're supposed to look at it right now.
A bunch of heritage players.
Yeah.
We again that's something that they definitely didn't discuss with us or anything. We walked into the locker room, I think for it was probably like photo day, and you just look in your stall and I see like MI on the back of my jersey. And I'm like, what is this?
You forgot the rest.
Wait, what? You didn't know? It wasn't discussed?
No.
Hoping,
They
like,
don't
you got a
discuss
name
things
bestowed on you or something like that.
You have to pick.
No, you don't get to pick. It's like...
Does it mean anything?
It's pronounced Mila, is
Sorry.
what was explained to me. And it's like the closest thing like to Miller.
Miller.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, pretty funny.
Anything else wild that would stand out to us? Like you go into the dressing room, the name is not yours on your jersey. Anything else that stands out is like, wow, that will never happen again in my hockey career.
Oh, I don't know. They were pretty, I don't know. They were pretty strict with us of like what we were eating. Like they took like pepper away at meals and stuff, or like doping. Like the Gatorade thing was like cleaned out. They're like, no, not having any of this. Like
no Gato?
Yeah, just stuff like that. Like stuff, and it's like it's not. There's no like there's no explanation, and there's no like back and forth of things like that.
It's like when you're a parent talking to your toddler. It's like, well, why? It's just because I said so kind of
thing.
Yeah, totally.
That's my life.
Yeah.
We can't really talk about your time with the Chinese national team without bringing up what took place this year with Team Canada. So first of all, we just want a positive side of things. Like, congrats on being named to the team. That's friggin' huge for you. What was that like to know that you've officially cracked the lineup to play for Team Canada and to don that jersey at the highest level? When I guess I don't even know if you would have gotten the call or if you would have walked into the rink one day and seen Gina and Troy there. How did that take place?
Yeah. Gina gave me a call and kind of told me the news, and obviously I was a little surprised, to be honest, just because of obviously my history and everything. I didn't fully know if that's something that would ever kind of come back around or would even be possible, to be honest. But pretty cool, special. I obviously felt pretty proud in that moment and super happy. Kind of a full circle moment for me, representing at the U18 level, and then kind of going overseas for a long time playing, and then coming back in this league and getting that call. So pretty cool. And just ultimately, like when she told me the news, like I knew that it wasn't a for sure thing, and that there was like some paperwork and obviously some things that needed to kind of get sorted out for me in order for me to actually go. But just a proud feeling, and honestly super grateful to Troy and Gina and Hockey Canada for kind of being willing to take those steps for me, and kind of just to even go through that process and see what it would look like. I know it was kind of a lot of back and forth for them as well. So,
Were there tears? Who were the first person you called when you found out? Like, that's a big moment. That's huge. It's full circle too. I mean, like you said, because it's like the stick-to-itiveness, the fact that like this is all you've wanted was to be a pro hockey player. You stuck with you basically were Carmen Sandiego traveling the world playing hockey.
Yeah.
And like you honed in on your craft. You helped grow the game all over the world. And it felt like, the hockey gods were, I don't even want to say paying you back because that's not even fair because you put in the work, but like, it came to this moment. So that had to have been a little bit overwhelming, no?
Yeah, for sure. I think I was shocked. My head was kind of spinning a little bit. But at the same time, I think it was, I wanted to call my parents and tell them, but at the same time, I didn't want to get their hopes up because I knew it was kind of not 100% thing. So it was kind of this weird, like inner celebration with, and just feeling proud for me. But at the same time, I knew there was going to be a little bit of a waiting game there as well. So.
Yeah. So what did Gina and Troy tell you? Like, how did
you've made the team, but we don't know exactly like if you're going to be able to play? Like that was the vibe?
I think, yeah, like prior to Gina calling me, there was a little bit back and forth between me and her in terms of kind of eligibility and like if I had been released from China or all these different things, which I didn't really, I don't know like all the ins and outs, but from my understanding, it, you know, at that time, they were pretty confident that it was going to be like I was going to be cleared and I was going to be good to go just from the conversations that were had with the IIHF. So, you know, although like when she did call me, like she was transparent in saying like it's not official, but you know, everything is looking pretty good. And there is, you know, some information and stuff that I had to provide, but at the end of the day, like I've learned that, you know, in my career, like it's nothing is for sure until it's actually for sure. So
yeah.
So what was the official decision? Like what did they give you? What was the reasoning? Can you share, or is that top secret?
No, the reasoning was, so the year before I played in the PWHL, I was playing with Kunlun again over in Russia. And I guess that contract that I had signed was still under the umbrella of, I guess, the Chinese national team, or it was a certain amount of days. And that contract didn't end until May, even though our season was over. I was back home in BC in March of 2023. I guess the contract didn't end until May, and that's kind of the information that was sent in. So then I wouldn't meet I think it's 720 day requirement, I guess, for me to be at Worlds.
So if Worlds took place in June, it would have worked.
From my understanding, I think, you know, I don't think anything was like super definitive, and there's still some stuff that's going to have to be back and forth and discussed for the future. But at the end of the day, all that stuff's out of my hands. And, I hope it works out, but,
we do too.
Yeah.
We hope it gets sorted. We'd love to see a Dawn in the red and white. That'd be an awesome thing for both our country and for you and for the league, you know, just like what a good story that is for any kid out there. Like even if you don't make an under 18 team and you go away to college, whether it's in Canada or the US, just keep playing. Like you never know what's going to happen.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. What's it been like for you playing under Gina and Troy? Like what have they done for your game? You're drafted, like, and even like coming into the PWHL, were you expecting to get drafted? Were you expecting more to sign after the fact? Like, what were your expectations there?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really have expectations. Everything happened. I remember everything just happened so fast that summer, kind of with the PWHL starting up and all of that. And I remember, you know, watching and the draft's kind of going on, and you're like, oh, I don't know. I had been away for so long, and you never know, but pretty happy when I heard my name called for sure, and just excited for another, you know, new opportunity. But Troy and Gina are just, you know, the whole organization, the way it's run, it's top notch, super professional. They're you know, Troy is just lives, breathes hockey, like such a I don't want to say like hockey nerd. I guess I would consider myself that
it's a compliment on the show.
Yeah, for sure. And just, you know, thinks of the game from so many different angles, and not just kind of X's and O's, but just, you know, from I think like a psychological standpoint and mental standpoint as well. And just all the staff that they bring on board and kind of let everybody have their niche, and it all kind of just comes together. So a ton of really good resources, and definitely those two kind of leading the ship. So yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, they're like awesome. Bona fide true professionals, those two. Like I've heard nothing but great things about the way they run, you know, the Toronto Sceptre's organization, where it's like, who was it that came on, Julia? That was like, Troy is never not watching video. Like he is always learning.
Daryl. Yeah.
And the flights, all the staff on the like plane rides, like bus, whatever it is, they're always analyzing.
So you're a van girl across the continent, essentially in Toronto. But I said earlier in this video that I follow in this podcast that I follow your food reviews on TikTok on your girlfriend's account pretty religiously.
There's one specific pizza review. I'm not joking. I'm forgetting where it was, but we literally ordered it that night. My boyfriend and I ordered it that night after you posted it.
That is so funny.
It was a good review.
Tell me. Max
yes.
Pizza?
And it was pretty fire too. You got so jammed up about it that I'm like, okay, Liam, order
I don't know
it.
what got into me that evening. I was being a bit crazy. That was like Super Bowl too.
You do good review.
Jessie was over too, and she was standing in the corner, like looking at me, like, "What are you doing?" She was like, "I think you can hear her in the back." At one point, she's like, "Okay, I think you're done."
I know. I actually like that was like part that sold me. Like I was like, she's so passionate, and it was good. Honestly, what are your top pizzas in the city, Hannah Miller?
Well, hold on. What was the order? Like, I need to know. Max Pizza,
ordered that immediately.
It just a pep and cheese?
It's like an angry pepper.
It had some like hot honey on it or something,
like
right?
It's like pepperoni with jalapenos or something.
It was very
Honestly,
good.
Max I'm going to have to give Max my number one because they also DM'd me after they saw that review and were like, come on down, bring the girls. We'd love to review. And I was like, no way.
That's true organic
Did you go?
No, I haven't gone yet. Oh,
come on.
But it's a little further, but no, we'll get down there for sure. It was really good. Batty Ollie.
So good.
Really good.
I hate scheduling the day before though. Like that to me, I'm like, God, I need to just be able to call on you. But I love Batty Ollie too.
Yeah, super good.
This pizza chat is hilarious.
I don't know what else. Those are
Blondies, I love. North of Brooklyn?
Yeah, it's a little hit or miss. The first time I had it, I was like, this is unreal. And then the second time, it's like, you can't be cooking it differently.
Yeah, you're right. Sometimes it's almost that they're too popular. They got to crank out too many in a night.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so what about coffee shops?
Oh, and Sugo. I got to shout out Sugo.
Oh,
yeah, my boys at Sugo. They do a really good pie. Good everything.
I love Sugo.
Go to Sugo.
Their gnocchi melts in your mouth. Like there's no chewing. You're just drinking that stuff. It is unreal. We ate enough for 4 people when we went there. Sugo.
I was gonna say you're always leaving with a full belly.
I feel ridiculous when I leave there sometimes. Like sometimes it's like, you go out and you're like, okay, we'll go for dinner and then drinks. It's like if you go to Sugo, it's you go for dinner and you go home.
Yeah.
Like you can't go out after. It's over. The night is ended.
Yeah. Done.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah, I feel like there's lots to experience in the city, especially you guys that we get to travel to a lot of cool cities, but Toronto specifically and Julia. And I feel like Emma's probably dragged you around to a lot of good coffee shops in the city. Like Julia asked, what are your top coffee spots if you're a coffee drinker?
Probably Sam James, number one for me right here.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah. And I don't know. That's kind of like once I get onto something, I'm kind of like pretty repetitive.
That's your spot?
I just get upset if I go somewhere else and it's not as good. I'm like, why didn't I go to my spot?
I'm actually the same way.
We like Broadflower in Liberty too, for a croissant or maybe some sourdough bread. But yeah, those are probably
sourdough bread.
I love that. I love that.
What about San Remo Bakery? I know it's near your practice rink. Have you ever dabbled? Julia and I, they're supporters of the pod.
You got to rip for them. Hannah, you got to go. They've got really good pastries. Their pizza's amazing. They do giant pizza slices.
This is in Etobicoke?
Yeah, it's really, really good. Highly recommend.
I'm getting hungry.
Final thing I want to leave you with, lots of buzz about expansion in the PWHL right now. Lots of people talking West. You got to play in that Vancouver takeover tour game, being from there. What would it do for the community, a team out there?
Yeah, I think it would be awesome. I mean, the takeover game was a highlight for sure. Just an incredible atmosphere. I remember like going up for warm-ups and just, it was like pretty much already full. People up in the 300s already, the signs everywhere. And I think just the growth out west for women's hockey in general and in BC, you look at, the national team now with players like Gardner, Micah, Primerano at the World Championships. I think it would be incredible. And we'd love to, be able to go back to that area to play more games in the future. So we'll see what happens.
Were the Cops and Robbers crew in the stands when you were playing?
Actually, yes.
They were.
There was, I had a lot of friends and family in the stands there, so that was pretty special.
Oh, that is cool. That. Hannah, thank you for doing this on your off time. I know you probably get to the rink, get a workout in at some point today, so we appreciate you doing this so much, and good luck the rest of the season. It's going to be fun to watch you guys in this postseason push.
Yeah, awesome, guys. I love what you're doing here for the game. It's awesome, and thanks for having me on.
We're stoked you took the time. We're cheering for you. Keep killing it out there.
Thank you.
North Van native Hannah Miller. Gonna be nice for her to get home for some games on the road next season. Get more family out at games. Like,
yeah, well, we don't even. She might be plucked. We don't even know how the expansion draft is going to happen.
I'm scared to even say it though, because I don't want to be the one that like puts it out there and then it happens and everyone will be like, "Oh, Julia, you cursed it, you manifested it." So I'm trying not to say it. But you said it, guys. Just mark that Tessa said it first.
Okay, fair. I said it. We don't know, but she very well could.
We don't know, but I'm intrigued to see. Like, now that we've opened the can of worms, I'm really intrigued to see if there's any like headline players from Vancouver that opt to make that jump.
And it's coming quick. You know the way the expansion draft is going to happen. Well, it's coming before June. We're
going to have to find out real freaking soon.
Real quick.
Yeah. So we'll see. For now, we'll see what happens this weekend with 3 games on tap in the PWHL. All the odds for this weekend are already available on FanDuel. So here's our FanDuel Friday 5. Make every moment more with FanDuel.
Can I just say something here?
Yes. What's up?
When we were in Montreal, someone brought up my FanDuel.
Yeah, you're really good
success.
At these.
I don't know, but that's put so much pressure on me. Now I'm like nervous, but it's like I'm still just gonna go with what I think.
But that's good. Like, you have good intuition. You're usually right. So Montreal at Ottawa. Montreal is the favorites on the money line, -134.
Yes.
Where do you feel that?
I'm gonna pick an anytime goal scorer in this one. Can I tell you?
Ooh, I like it. Here, let me find the odds.
I know who it is. Teresa Vanishova, excuse me. She's +380. I'm throwing money on her.
I love that.
Absolutely.
I love
100%.
that. She's going to be rattled after Worlds in her hometown. I heard Kenzie on the broadcast say that she saw Teresa walking like her French bulldog around České Budějovice between games. Like, that's the cutest thing ever. As if my FOMO wasn't bad enough. Toronto, Boston on Saturday. Toronto is in Boston, extremely side favorites at -115. Boston sits at...
I'm going Boston on this one.
Ooh, I like that. What gives you the feels?
Just Boston being Boston, coached by Coach Courtney Kennedy. Courtney Kennedy as well, but Courtney Kessel.
Yeah.
I don't know. This team knows that it's crunch time. They're in a tight spot right now, and the fact that I think it would be good for them to not have Frankel for one game and allow Paislarova or whoever they want to step in between the pipes and prove to the team like it doesn't all rely on her. Like, you've got a backup here and we can do this together. I just feel like Boston's coming out with some type of swagger in this last little bit.
They're all going to have black eyes.
Yeah. It would be hilarious if they all came out with black eyes on.
That would be such a Boston thing. I'm calling it right now. They have the best like team walking outfits. It was only usually for takeover tour games. I'm going there all black, and that's such a good call, Tessa. They're all gonna have black on for
and my anytime goal scorer in this one is Susanna Tapani.
Ooh, love it. Yeah. One of your faves. Do you have the odds on
that? She's +320.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Like that. Sirens are in Minnesota on Sunday. Minnesota -154 on the money line in that one.
I'm going to go New York on this one. Because they've got a lot of rested players.
Yep.
And they've got good goalies that are rested as well. Now, I know I said be scared of Minnesota heading into this, but I think there's going to be a little rust and some cobwebs. And if that door is cracked open a little bit, which I very well might be, I feel like New York's going to be able to do it. This is going to be a goalie duel, okay? So the over-under is 4.5. I'm going to pick under on this one as well.
Okay, I like that. Did you see the video of all the New York Sirens playing basketball?
Yes. Did I send that to you?
Yeah, you did. I saved it. I was like, perfect for our Jackson Dill basketball invitational this summer.
Yeah.
We're playing so many rec sports this summer.
It's wild. Like, what are we even doing?
I don't know. We actually have to sit down and make a plan for that. But it's so hard when we're in the midst of playoffs and like all I can think of is the games that are happening and what is going to happen to end this PWHL season, dude.
I don't know.
I'm pumped though. We will talk to you all on Tuesday. We'll have a little bit of a better picture as to what the playoffs might look like, or maybe we won't. Maybe we'll have a even bigger Yahtzee. I don't know. Oh my gosh.
It's really excited. We won't have a good picture, I don't think, until the last games are being played.
Yeah,
that's
seriously. Thank you to our sponsor, SharkNinja, Pizza, CCM. We love you guys. Thank you for helping us do this week in and week out. Thank you all for listening. We appreciate you the most. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, on Instagram, on X, TikTok, Facebook, Blue Sky. Remember, we do our Send It segment on Tuesday, so drop us a line on any one of those platforms if you want to submit a question for our Send It segment. Until then, guys, on Tuesday, enjoy the games. Enjoy the little bit of nice weather. Spring? Are you here? Is it real, girl? I don't know. It snowed in Thunder Bay yesterday.
Playoff time.
We'll see. We love y'all, and we'll talk to you Tuesday.